going on YouTube? What's going on TikTok? How's everybody living tonight? Hopefully sexy. My hope. A young man can hope, can he? It's weird. My actual camera picks up light and space way better than my phone camera, which is just another reason to get rid of this crappy iPhone. I don't know why people love Apple products so much. And I guess I want YouTube to actually hear me. I'm gonna want to go ahead and put that headset on because that's part of the game. What's up, YouTube? I'm just up in here rapping. Senko Sensu. Sophia's here. Dilly Dilly. What up, G? 203 Brian's in the house. You haven't missed a thing, man. It's sexy time, baby. You don't miss anything when it's sexy time. Nigel says, did someone say sexy time? Oh yeah. I mean, look at me. Come on, man. Look up the word sexy time in the dictionary. See if it's my face from this stream right now. In real time, they just updated it. Don't go look, it's there. Just take my word for it. Senko says get a Samsung. I plan to. Actually, I'm not going to get a Samsung. The phone I actually have my eye on from a functionality and production standpoint is the Asus Republic of Gamers 2 phone. Is the one I've been keeping my eyeballs on. Namely, the refresh rate being insane is fine. I don't really care about that. The camera's decent, but the battery life is just insane, right? So it's made to play games, which means if I want to go on a long live stream, I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about running out of battery because I talked for an hour, right? Like I do with this crappy iPhone. Scott Lindsay says, now we can hear you. I know, it's amazing what a microphone will do for you. Permafrost, what's up, Nick? Good to see you, brother. BJ Stone says, what up, my man? Not a thing, brother. Not a thing and everything. Eden says, hello, man. Hello. So I'm here for y'all tonight. I'm going to do a quick Q&A and then going to rack out, hit the bed, sleep. Is he calling me or my son? Yeah. Who is it? Is it the UPS man? Is it Xavier's chair? I'm not talking to you, little guy. I'm talking to your mom. I'm in the middle of a call, so am I the only person in this house who can answer a door? Like, come on, guys. And who comes to your house at 9:40 p.m.? Who does that? Oh, it's Coach. It's Coach. It's my neighbor, man. It's cool. Yeah, he's cool, man. Open the door for Coach. Anyway, the sound is better here. Still prefer TikTok. Yeah. Uh, the sound is definitely better on YouTube for sure. In fact, the ability to control the interface is a little bit better too. But TikTok will get there, man. I think TikTok is eventually about to put TikTok's going to put hurting on a lot of these older social media platforms. It's going to force a lot of change. Dilly Dilly King says, "Should I join you on YouTube?" So you guys don't have to join me on YouTube tonight. I'm not going to shut I'm on both just to be convenient because I have a following on YouTube that doesn't use TikTok. There's a bunch of you on TikTok who don't use YouTube. This isn't one of those calls where I'm going to pull the you need to hurry up and get on YouTube because I'm going to shut it down move on you. Because I don't have anything to present that I need YouTube for. Right? So I'm going to if you prefer to hang here on TikTok, hang on TikTok, man. Uh, you should definitely be subscribed to me on YouTube if you're not already. Because there's a lot of things I stream there that I don't stream here. Bella says, hey, what's up, Bella? Which means beautiful. Al First says, hello, brother. What's up, man? Colorado Vicky's in the house. What's up, Vic? Thank you for sharing, Senko. Much love, man. So, yeah, I'm really just here for y'all tonight, man. Whatever you guys want to talk about. I don't have a topic, I don't have an agenda. I got my protein shake tonight is a cup and a half almond milk, spinach, blackberries, uh, peanut butter, chocolate protein mix, and a cup of like Greek high protein yogurt. It's actually my dinner tonight because I didn't feel like cooking. I was lazy. I got started too late in the evening. I mean, it's almost 10 o'clock. It's like I should have eaten by 8 o'clock. But I didn't have my first meal until 4:30, so my day got kind of thrown off. And then my wife was supposed to go walking with me, but she didn't, which was cool because I ended up being able to get on a call with a great friend of mine and enjoyed that time while I went on my second walkout of work. On my second workout, walking is what I'm trying to say. Thank you, dyslexia. Um, but yeah, so let's see. Nick says, have some ideas for more TikTok videos. Just need to get to work. We are making products today, though. Okay, great, man. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I liked your. So, little pro tip for you, Nick. This should never cause you an issue, but I just want to make you aware of it. I can't remember what the right term is. In fact, I'm going to look it up. So, because a lot of my friends on social media do this, and technically it's not legal, it's just nobody says anything about it. But there is a way. There's a way to get around it, and I'm going to look that up for you right now. I'm looking it up for you. So essentially, I want to get my terminology right before I say anything. I don't want to terrify everybody. But so many of you do this on social media, and technically it's not legal. But everyone just kind of assumes you mean the legal thing, so they let it ride. Um, I'm trying to look it up. 'Cause somebody was teaching me this the other day. I was like, I've never heard of this before. And I want to make sure. What was my workout routine today? I did hill sprints earlier today, and then I just went for a walk later. The motivator says, what's going on, brother? How you do? I'm amazing, man. Come on, bro. We're above ground. What are we talking about out here? Last video was beyond truth, man. I'm retired and civilian now, and I feel hollow knowing. I know the feeling, man. But the thing that I'm going to be helping a lot of you vets do, one of the things that I'm working on, kind of my my life's project right now, um, is creating something that helps you find the battlefield after war, right? And I've helped a lot of guys with this personally, and so I'm turning it into an online series of. It's a course basically, but I'm not really calling it a course because it's not something I'm selling. It's just something I'm making. Um, After years of going undiagnosed with a lot of my issues, and then 2 years of pretty intensive PTSD therapy, and everything that I'm working with trying to get healthy myself. um, there's basically helping, especially the men. It's not that women don't deal with this, and I know somebody's going to take the video out of context, be like, "What about women?" And like, yes, it applies to women too, just not as often. There's, there are women who obviously this applies to, but typically the folks uh, you find killing themselves over this are men, and so it's one of the things I work to help a lot of guys with is once they come out of that environment and then they come into the quote unquote real world and they realize, whoa, is this kind of bullshit facade professional life, what we were fighting to protect. Like, this is what you guys do every day. You just collect checks and and that's not to say that there aren't corporations that do amazing stuff too. It's just there's actually a book called Bullshit Jobs that I haven't read yet, but I have listened to an interview by the author, and I planned to read that book. But yeah, I know the feeling, man. So basically, I was watching a video where they said giveaways. I think the term is giveaway. That's what I'm trying to look up now. That giveaways are illegal. Um, but I'm trying to find the right terminology so I don't terrify because so many of my friends on social media do giveaways, and it's like there's a way to get around it, but technically, I think I wish I could find the video that I saw this on. I think I was going through either YouTube or TikTok's community guidelines or something. What you need to know is that it's of the utmost importance to not inadvertently create an illegal lottery. A lottery, by legal definition, consists of three main ingredients: consideration. The contestant needs to offer value to enter. Could be money, but could be something else like investing time to complete it. That's the thing, right? That's what makes it technically illegal. As a lot of you guys will do, I'm doing the giveaway, and all you got to do is like and share and do all this other stuff. And I think technically that makes it um, get kind of into the danger zone. I've never seen anybody get in trouble for it, but just something to be aware of. There's no legal animal called a giveaway. This can be confusing and misleading, whether it's a contest or sweepstakes. Make sure to use the correct terminology and then comply with all uh, required regulations governing your event. So I think calling it a contest is what makes it legal. A sweepstakes, I believe, is illegal. I'm trying to remember how they do it. Yeah, like giveaways or sweepstakes are regulated by the U.S. Post Office, Federal Communications Commission, Federal Trade Commission, the Internal Revenue Service, and Department of Justice. They are also strictly regulated by state law, which means compliance with every jurisdiction. So just be careful when you guys are talking about doing giveaways because that can be misconstrued as a sweepstakes, which can be technically not okay depending on the state you're in. So doing a contest where like people I'm going to pick the best piece of art that somebody does and then I'm just going to send you something that's really cool. That is the one that's legal. So just be careful with your terminology out there, gang. Just be mindful. BJ Stone says, I follow you on TikTok. Drawing versus contest or competition. Ha, save time. Yeah, so sweepstakes and sweeps giveaway is sometimes misconstrued as a sweepstakes, which would not be technically legal to do. But you could do a contest. It's like I'm gonna give away these shoes to. I'm gonna run a contest, and the reward for winning the contest is these shoes. Contests, I think, are the ones. But look it up on your own. Don't take my word for it. I just wanted you guys to be careful out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ivan, my usual workout routine is a lot of heavy lifting, but since it's Corona time, uh, not a whole lot of heavy lifting. So there's a lot of body weight workouts, a lot of freaking push-ups, more push-ups than I've ever wanted to do. Pocket Thought says, "Hey B, nice to catch you live. It's nice to be caught. Good to see you, my lady." Mm. The seeds from the blackberry didn't get blended up. Scrappy Jeep. That's funny. So do you remember the song "I See the Patch"? Yeah, we're talking about, you talking about the cadence. um, because that, if we're talking about the same thing, that's one of my favorites, man. I actually sing, if that's what you're talking about. Me and my son sing that cadence on TikTok. Uh, my little guy. Um, because we sing 82nd, 101st, and then we do third division, and then we sing my unit affiliation. Oh, the song. Of course, man. I wouldn't give a bean to be a fancy pants Marine. I'd rather be a dog-faced soldier like I am. I wouldn't trade my old ODs for all the Navy's dungarees, because I'm the walking pride of Uncle Sam. On army posters that you read, it says be all that you can, so they're tearing me down to build me over again. I'm just a dog-faced soldier with a rifle on my shoulder. Yeah, of course I remember the song, man. How could you forget? You got to sing the damn thing every day at work. I eat raw meat for breakfast every day. So feed me ammunition, keep me in the third division. Your dog-faced soldiers a-okay. Yeah, I remember the song, man. Of course. I had to sing that damn song every single day. And I was in Sledgehammer Brigade, so we had to sing Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel every day. Well, we didn't sing it, but it played every day after PT. Cool, man. Good to see you. Pocket Thought says this night shift job is really growing on me as it's perfectly fitted for when you guys in the States are online and live. Excellent. Scott Lindsay says fire. Word up. I'm ready for whatever comes my way. Yeah, and we sang an abbreviated version of the real song because we didn't sing the "Ready for Whatever Comes My Way." We didn't sing the USA part. We just went straight to uh, "Feed Me Ammunition." And in fact, the funny thing is that plaque that's up there is actually my father's. It's not mine. People see it like, you were at Third Infantry Division. I was, but that plaque's not mine. I got that. I took some collectibles from my mom's house when my dad passed away. That is his third ID patch. Back when third ID was in Germany, way back when. Dun, 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 dun. What up, Sheepdog? What's up, Sand Ghost? Good to see you, man. Spider Bite says huge respect for our military. I tip my hat. I tip my hat to you, man. Huge respect to you. You feel me? Where are you working now that you are out? I am not working. I'm a lazy bastard that comes on here and talks to people on the internet. That's what I'm doing. Scrappy Jeep says, "Imagine first unit in the Army, third ID." So, which brigade were you in? Which BCT did you rock with, man? And when were you there? I wonder if we crossed paths, man. Loving influencing human behavior. Yeah, that book is real, bruh. You got to come ready. But do you notice how that book, all of the gurus of today basically steal from it? It's it's like Picasso said: good artists steal. Good artists copy, great artists steal, man. Have you been staying hydrated all the time, man? Today I was not quite as hydrated as I should have been. That's why you see me sucking on this water now. Don't worry, YouTube. I'm coming back to you too. This whole Corona thing sucks right about now. Why? It's a great opportunity, man, to like do stuff that you're interested in. Like if you can't go into an office, that's a great time to. I've read, God, how many books have I read just in the last couple of days? I'm working on this bad boy right now. You know what I'm saying? It's a pretty thick one. You can see my highlighter right there. I got some TikTok videos coming out of this book, son. It's real business right there. Scott Lindsay, I already read his comment. Nick says, haha, I was so happy to hand that music back in when I in processed it. I bet you were, man. Iden Touche says, hello, what's up, man? I was in Sav when it switched from 24th to 3rd. Interesting. All right. Interessante. Aiden says, is it Aiden or Aiden? How do you pronounce it? So, what book are you currently reading? I'm reading about one, two, three. I already read all these. One, two, three. I'm reading 4 books right now. 5. There's another book over here that I'm still reading. I'm reading 5 different books right now. Ooh, I heard Germany. What were you guys talking about? Military units that we worked with. Scott Lindsay says, yeah, man, building like crazy over here because everyone else is shrinking back. Of course, man. Like, this is great. I've spent more time with my kids, and some of that is not good news because kids are annoying, but they're also amazing human beings. Uh-oh, Night Stalkers don't quit. Say what? I pour milk on coronavirus, eat it for bread. We are more than conquerors. Rock on, man. Enjoy your breakfast. I am probably going to have oatmeal with protein, but you know, live your dream. Insane how, yeah, like all these books that it's like the book The Secret. Like somebody was talking about one of my videos, like, oh, this is the law of attraction. No, this is psychology. Like, it's not The Secret, dude. It's how, like, this is psychology, biology, and neurology all working together. This isn't some magic secret. Not a fan of that book. Whatever. Uh, I mean, I don't hate it, and I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just they promote the stuff that's easy to sell, right? It's hard to tell people, your life, you should run after things that are really hard because it makes you more of a woman or more of a man, and it makes you stronger, and it actually makes you happier. Nobody wants to buy that. People want to buy, here's how to get 6-pack abs in 6 weeks or less while eating 7 pounds of sushi and cake. Like, people want to buy bullshit because they don't understand that the hard is what makes you good. Uh, what do you reference when making critical decisions? I don't understand the question. What do you mean, what do I reference? What was your MOS when you were in the military? 13 Alpha was my MOS. Sand Ghost says 0608 Seder 2. Or is it Cedar 2? Aha, nah, it's my senior year. I'm ready to graduate. All right. I've been seeing lots of solutions to the challenges. People are smart and helpful. Yes. Hello, I'm back, says Mukhtar Saeed or Siad. Siad, my bad. I'm butchering people's names. What's up, Shah Rookie? How you living, Holmes? It's pronounced like saying the letter A. So like Aiden. Okay, so it's Aiden, not Aiden. Understood. Thank you for correcting me. Pocket Thoughts says, I was listening to your selflessness live from yesterday while working, and it really hit me. Must finish listening to you once you go off here. My selflessness. I don't remember that one. But I've made so much. I've made probably 3,000 pieces of video or slash audio content. So a lot of times I don't even remember what I said. Like if someone got mad at me, it was like, he hates short people because the podcast 113. Like, I don't remember what I said. I say a lot of crazy stuff. I'm extremely grateful for the value you are sharing so generously. Thank you, good sir. Thank you. No, thanks for being a part. I mean, it takes two to tango, right? I'm happy to share the things that I know because so many people share great things with me. And it's fun to do it when people are receptive to it. Because truth be told, like I made a video last night. It was my thank you for 100,000 followers video for TikTok, right? And only about 3,000 people watched it because I don't think most people realized what it was. But the whole message in the video was thank you because this platform's given me faith that I can continue going against the grain without having to spend ridiculous amounts of money, you know, filming myself in a helicopter to get people's attention and still get people's attention who want to learn and who want to understand how to really get life by the horns and don't want to buy into the tabloid kind of uh, shop, grocery store shopping magazine aisle nonsense that people are still selling to this day. And it's like, do these people still believe there's an easy way, that there's a shortcut to anything, that there's a hack? It doesn't exist. The shortcuts always lead to more pain than the pain you would have to go through to do it the right way. I tell my son this all the time when he's working and he's being lazy and doesn't want to do his work. I said, here's how we can do this, homie. This is your fourth time coming to me with your homework assignment and it's still jacked up. This is taking you about 2 hours. If you would have just taken 30 minutes to do it right the first time, you'd be done. But now we're going to be here for 3 or 4 hours because you keep wanting to take shortcuts. So doing it the right way and going through the pain and stopping the whining will actually get you to playing video games faster. And he's getting to the age now. I mean, he was, kids are kids. He's finally getting to the age where some of that teaching's starting to sink in. But it's a blessing to have people who want to listen because I say a lot of crazy stuff. I say a lot of things that can be potentially offensive. They're not intended to be, but people, like Dan Pena said in one of his interviews, he's like, I mistakenly believed that people had a lot of confidence and self-esteem. It's like they do not. And that's why everyone on the internet's bitching at each other. It's because they're hurting and they haven't been taught how to be resilient. And so some of the stuff I say, it hits people wrong, and that's okay. It's like I'm not gonna chase you down and try to help you. Like I'll be here when you're ready, Or I'm sure there's a buffet line of people who say good things on the internet. You can find one that suits you. What's up, Broken Suba? Pocket Thought says, what was the book you were referencing to that every guru was stealing from? It's called Influencing Human Behavior by H.A. Overstreet. It's on my website. There's a video on TikTok if you find it. It's called The Secret Book or whatever. If you go to that video and just go into the comments, you can I have a digital copy. It's not in print anymore. The copyright's expired because the book's over. I think it might even be close to 200 years old at this point. It's an old book, right? And you can just download it right there on my website and read it. And a lot of people are saying, your website doesn't work. I tried it. It's like, slow down. It's a very big PDF. Give it a second to load. Pocket Thought says, why you're wrong about why forgiveness is actually a selfish act, or why you're wrong about selflessness. Yeah, excellent. I think Tony gave it a different title on YouTube than it has on the podcast. But that's cool. I'm glad you're enjoying that. Nick says, you keep saying you have to actually do work. That is crazy. Tell us how to get it done quick. I know, right? Like, how do you join the special forces? Like, I'm gonna release an article like 5 easy tips to join the Navy SEALs. I've never been a Navy SEAL. I have a handful of friends that have done that type of work. One of the guys I grew up with disappeared, and we found out he was a Navy SEAL. He disappeared while we were in college, and I was like, where did this dude go? Nobody, even his best friend didn't know where he was. And then we ran into his brother at a restaurant because his family had moved away after everyone went to college and left. And we found his brother at a local restaurant. I was like, dude, where is your brother? He's like, oh, he's getting ready to graduate he's a Navy SEAL. Like, what? Stop it. 5 easy tips to become a Navy SEAL. Like that'll be an article one day. It's hilarious. Like there is no easy way to get to anything worth it. There's an easy way to get fat. There's an easy way to get out of shape. There's an easy way to die early. I can give you a whole, but nobody's buying that magazine. And by the way, you don't need the magazine. Half of you are already doing it, right? You're still eating his Cinnabon. Let's see, BJ Stone says that is true. John Wall says Bryant Chambers speaks. How do I find your website? BryantChambers.com. I don't think there's anything there that you need to go there for right now, though. All the stuff that is of interest to you guys, I post direct links to. But by all means, if you want to check out my website, it's a mess right now, but have fun on there. Do you have a blog? I don't really blog. I do have a blog. It's not worth your time. I don't enjoy writing. I'm not bad at it. I just don't enjoy it enough to do it all the time. So my blog is my podcast is the best thing. Let's see. The motivator says you listen to Dan Pena. Not a fan of him. He acts tough, but he ain't. No, he's quite tough. Yes, I listen to Dan Pena because I like people who tell the truth. A lot of people don't like him because he calls them what they are, and he's not nice. And I could totally relate to that because I'm not a very nice. I'm a kind person. Um, and if you, I don't know how much of him you've watched, but I've read his book and I've listened to things he does outside of his internet get attention, calling people cunts and stuff like that. Um, but when you get past that, he legit, you can see it in his face. Like if you know how to read people, when you see him actually working with humans, you can see it in his eyes that he genuinely gives a crap about these people and he wants them to win. You know, he's a pompous ass, but he would tell you that. And he's not everybody's cup of tea, man. You got to be I think you have to be the right kind of personality to, like, I sent it to one of my military brothers. He's like, how have we not known about this guy? He's like, I want to go to his seminar tomorrow. It's like, yeah, man. So, I mean, he killed a bear with his bare hands. I'd say that's pretty tough. But you know, I get that he's not everybody's cup of tea. You got to really, really have some strong self-esteem to be able to put up with a person that really gets in your face like that. But it's also personality too. Like I have the type of personality where a person like that doesn't offend me or hurt my feelings or whatever. If he's telling me the truth and he's trying to help me, it's fine with me. Mike Z says to all the veterans here, thank you for your service. As far as diets and getting six packs, well, Dilly must have said something. People are having the wool pulled over their eyes. Yeah, that's welcome to humanity. That's ever since human beings learned how to write or talk, they've been doing that. Respect, Semper Fi from a Marine vet. What's up, Raven? Good to see you, man. Or woman. I'm not sure which you might be. Sand Ghost says nothing in life is free. Yo, I'm back, says Cesar Pascal. What's up, dude? 68 Whiskey and 37 Fox. What are those MOSs, man? I'm not familiar with those two. Love your videos, man. Respect. Yeah, thanks, dude. Mukhtar says marketing tips. What kind of marketing tips would you like? 31 Bravo. Is 31 Bravo MP? I think that's what that is. I should know. One of my closest brothers was an MP. He said, if you can't be good at it. Where's Nemo? That's funny. Scrappy Jeeps has got to get ready for tomorrow. Cool, man. Have a good night. Just came across your videos. Much respect. Bless you, man. Thanks, Clayton. Love your message, says Jeffrey. Been seeing lots of solutions to the challenges. People are smart and helpful. For sure, man. Yes, they are. Let's see. Nick says, go earn the respect of a failure. They got off the couch. Yeah, absolutely. I love that's a great line, Nick. Can I steal that, man? Did you make that up? Go earn the respect of a failure. They got off the couch. That's a great line. Larry Adams says, Zup, Brian? Jim from Iowa here. I'm the one who made the virus breakfast comment. What up, Jim? Oh, it's Jim. Your name's Larry on here. I didn't. What's up, man? How you been, brother? My spiritual brother from another mother. Medic and psyop. Okay. Excelente. Raven says male. Drop some knowledge to the people. Says Abo Caradon. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name. Your 69 Pillars of Success playlist has me messed up. I hope you mean messed up in a good way. I'd hate for that coaching course to be hurting somebody. John Wall says, perfect, thank you. I'm not sure what I'm being thanked for. Oh, he was asking me about the website. That's right. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for listening to what I do. Hey, man, I tried to catch your YouTube video. All right, it's still there. Go check it out when you can. Definitely male. I was explosive hazmat ordinance. Okay, cool, man. 3533 or 85 Mike Motor T. Got it. Loud fail and man. Some of you guys are saying very interesting things. Chris Tetro says infomercial. What are you talking about, Chris? Where's your head at, man? Loud fail and man. Are you just saying random things in the chat that don't make any sense? Because that'll probably get you banned. Permafrost says, used to tell my students that all the time. Sometimes they would give up before trying. Yeah, most people do, unfortunately, man. Let's see. Shah says, yes, in a good way. What I needed. Thank you. Hey, bless your heart, man. A lot of people have gotten a lot of good things out of that course. You know, I talk about this a lot because I'm proud of the guy. Dude implemented everything the way I told him to take the course, and he increased his income after taking the course by $20,000 that year. That ain't too bad for a free course, and you didn't even have to pay $1,000 for it. You know, didn't even have to pay $1,000 to learn all that stuff. It's just right there on YouTube. I failed to really relay that to people around me. Mukhtar says, is it worth going to college? It depends on what you're going to college for, right? So it could be. It could also be a monumental waste of time. Titles given, not earned. Hey, Chris, start saying things that make sense, homie. What are you talking about? Write your sentences in context so we can understand what you're saying. Chacha, what up? And also, guys, I read all the comments so you don't have to type your stuff a bunch of times. I'll eventually get to it. If the earth is round, why does a ball not roll? You got the answer? I don't care. That's my answer. I love the "you are what you answer to" video. Yeah. The one on TikTok or the 69 Pillars course video? The course video is longer. TikTok video is only a minute long. Spider Bite says, what was your body count? What are you talking about? Body count? Talking about the video on men missing combat. Yeah, yeah. That's heavy, man. I'm glad people are liking that video. ASAP says, why do you shave your upper lip? Because I look like one of those trench coat strippers when I have a mustache. Doesn't look good on me. It looks not good. Because my mustache doesn't grow as sexually as my beard does. It's not sexy. So I shave it. Jim says, good, man. Doing well. Good to see your smiling face. Yeah, likewise, man. It's good to see you. Broken Suba says, so B. Last few days I've been busting my ass. My Etsy shop is imminent. Being productive has me feeling great. It should. Keep getting after it, man. All right. I warned your ass. You about to get blocked, homie. Let's see. Cha-Cha, I don't understand your question. What is Russ or Dame? What are you talking about? Is that like Australian for man or woman? The motivator says your weight, maybe. I don't understand the context of what you guys are. Are some of y'all's comments getting cut off? Because your comments aren't making any sense to me. Do I know about Sherlock Holmes? I've heard of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's book. I haven't read it, but I've heard of it. How long have you been on YouTube? Technically, since like 2006, but I wasn't really doing anything serious. I started a comedy sketch channel back then and made some videos with my cousins, just screwing around in our house or in my house at the time. And then 2000, like right at the end of 2012, is when I made the YouTube channel for my then media company, which is different from my personal brand that I have now. Um, that was technically it was 2012, but it was like October, so I technically got started in 2013, and then the channel with my name got started in 2016. Sorry for I only get yeah. So it's okay if you only get 50 letters, Chris, but just break your statements up. But let me ask you this, Chris, because I don't want to be harsh on you. Is English your second language? Are you trying to say something that you don't have the words for? Because I get a lot of people that follow me that don't speak English natively, and sometimes it's hard to communicate something that your language probably has words for, and English just doesn't, so it gets a little harder. Diamond Hunter says hi. See, Raven says never ask a veteran their body count. Is that what he was asking? Like that's ridiculous, guys. This Call of Duty generation. But you know what? I did that as a kid too. I can't be too hard. One of my buddies, he's actually one of my mentors on the military side, but he worked with my dad when he was in the military. He's a great friend of our family. Came back after a special operation, and he came back to see my pops, and was just kind of briefing him on everything that was going on. I asked him, "Did you kill anyone?" He was like, "You don't ever ask somebody that." I was like, "My bad, bro." Well, I was 8 when I asked that question. Yeah, it's a wrong question to ask. Any freaking warrior going around bragging about all the people they've killed probably hasn't killed a lot of people. Yeah, spider bite. I don't know how old you are, brother. That's a bad. I'm gonna just be a friend to you. Don't ever ask anybody that question ever in your life. I assume you're a young dude that doesn't know better, and that's okay. Not trying to be hard on you, just letting you know. Don't ever ask a warrior how many people they've killed. Don't do it. It's bad form. That's some Call of Duty shit where all your friends are talking, hey, how many guy kills did you get in this last round? Like, that's a very heavy thing to have to deal with, and then to have to, like, answer somebody. Right? That it would be the equivalent, like, if you've never been in fights, it'd be the equivalent of asking a guy, so how many ladies have you slept with when you cheated on your wife? Like, tell me in front of his wife. That's kind of how bad that question is. Uh, Sango says, what do you say to vets who have lost their way? Um, Give me an example of lost their way that's kind of generic, right? Like, what's an example of lost? Because the answer to your question is whatever I'm going to say to a person who might need my help is going to be tailored to their specific situation. Like, I don't have a go-to list of things I say to people, right? I listen. First of all, the real answer to your question is I don't say a damn thing. I listen, and I try to pick up what they're struggling with or what their challenge is, and then I try to tailor a response if a response is warranted. Sometimes people just need to be listened to, and I don't say a damn thing. I just listen. But if something needs to be said, it's usually tailored specifically to whatever their challenge is. So Chris says titles given and not earned, a pound behind. Not sure what you mean by that. Russell Westbrook or Damian Lillard. They are basketball players. They hate each other. I don't care. I don't like basketball. I don't even know who the second guy is. That's how much I don't know about basketball. All right. Let's go back to the YouTube side. Jim says, highly recommend anyone looking into the aviation industry. Gigantic need for pilots and mechanics. Yes. Nick says, oh, brother, have a great live. Supper time again. Oh, and you're light brown at best. I love you, brother, man. Enjoy the time with your family. I'll talk to you soon. Pocket Thought says, seems Overstreet's book is back in print according to Amazon. Yeah, oh yeah. I'm sure people have printed that bastard up and are selling it for sure. But you can just download it for free. You don't have to buy that book. And like if you want to have a copy of it, and I might even buy a copy of it just to put it on my shelf. Um, but I actually printed it out, and I have a physical copy around here somewhere that I was reading. Sexy time. Yes, it is sexy time. BJ Stone says, I have to go back a watch video. Okay, cool. Pocket Thought says, would you say the 69 pillars is possible to do if not done one video per day? Say you do one yeah. The point is do not do more than one a day, right? So let's say you did 3 a week, right? It's just going to take you longer to get through it. I prefer you to do one a day. I prefer you to set aside the time and do that. If you cannot, that's okay. I prefer you to do like one every 2 days than try to do 6 in one day, because you're going to get hit. Like the first video out of the gate is heavy. It's not a concept people get taught. It's the first thing you should learn in like I'd say first grade. That lesson should be taught to 6-year-olds. Like, listen, right? Like I'm teaching my toddler this right now. I'm teaching him because he'll start to do something. He says, "Daddy, I can't." Wrong. Yes, you can. Say it. Yes, I can. Now do it. Keep working past the failure, and you'll eventually do it, right? So it's helping him understand that whatever you think you are, you're correct. If you think you can't do it, you're never going to do it. You're never going to like surprise yourself and do it when you believe that you can't. Right, so trying to do that video and then do like the 5 pillars of self-awareness, especially now that the 5 pillars of self-awareness is like a 2-hour video and not a 40-minute video with all the Q&A that we put in there, that's a lot to cover, right, if you're doing one every day. Now, the best way to do it is one a day so that you can do it, apply the principle, sleep on it, and get up and do the next one. If you can't stick with that, as long as you're consistent, that's the only out I'll give you, is if you're going to do one every 2 or 3 days, I want you to be consistent with it. I want you to set a time where you are going to do it on that third day, every third day. Do it, make time to take notes, and then give yourself the actions that you need to do at the end of the video to actually implement the principles in your life, right? I'm okay with that. The bigger issue, the problem is you get these go-getters where a lot of courses, you can just binge watch them and learn pretty much everything you need to know, because hell, they spend the first 7 videos introducing themselves in a lot of courses. It's like, dude, get to the thing I'm supposed to know. Like, and tell the listener, why is this thing you're about to teach me important, right? And I try to do that even with the titles. Like one of the videos in the 69 pillars is how I got killed on the battlefield. I didn't die for real. I died in a training exercise because I did something stupid, and the evaluators, they're like, you're dead. So someone else has got to lead your unit because you're an idiot. And I was like, good, lesson learned, right? And I think the title of the video is like, it's situational awareness will save your life, how I died on the battlefield, right? And that's important. You got to have situational awareness. Most people don't. So yeah, it's okay if you can't keep up every day, but don't go 2 weeks and be like, oh, I need to catch up. Like, force yourself to make a schedule to do it properly. All right. That's a great question, by the way. Thank you for asking that, because I'm sure you're not the only one thinking that. Kira says, hi, Brian. What's up, Kira? Pocket Dog says, I prefer reading actual paper. Yeah, me too. That I made an exception for that book digitally, but then I ended up printing out a copy and reading it in a binder. Oh, I have to go back and watch your videos on YouTube. Okay. Got you, man. Thanks. No worries. ASAP says, guys, speak English. The motivator says not heavy, normal for me. Word. What do you say? Okay, I answered that one already. Yeah, I always used to say, going back to the Russell Westbrook question, and I meant this in love because I like jabbing people. What's up, Nick? Good to see you, brother. Uh, I always because my business partner is a big basketball dude. He played football too, but basketball is his thing. I was like, basketball is for people that can't play football, right? Like that's the only reason basketball exists. Is for people that are afraid of contact. He's like, shut up, man. I played football. Like, did you? With your cute shorts on and your jump shot. Like I actually, my last basketball game I ever played in, I got ejected because, and matter of fact, I just met this dude over Christmas break with my group. There's a group of friends all getting together after high school, and one of the guys I grew up with, we were playing against each other in my last ever organized basketball game in high school, and I got ejected from the game because I tackled him. And he didn't remember it. I said, "Yeah, I tackled you." And I said, "It wasn't even personal, man. You punched me in the face when I was going up for a shot." But it was an accident. Like, he's just an aggressive guy like me. He wasn't trying to hurt me. I don't even think he realized he hit me. And I'm looking at the ref like, and the ref's like, "What?" And I said, "I bet you see this." And he dribbles around, and I just sprint as fast as I can down the court. And when he gets into the paint, I just football tackled him in the paint. And the refs are like, "All right, dude, you're finished. Your basketball career is over." I ain't got no basketball career. This is the best thing I've ever done in basketball is tackling my friend. Screw your game. And then I sprained my ankle. My dad's like, "That's what you get." Sprained ankle for being an idiot. I said, "Dad, he punched me in the face. What was I supposed to do?" He's like, "Maintain your composure and get back in the game. That's what your dumb ass is supposed to do." Like, all right. You gotta yell at me. By the way, can you take me to the doctor tomorrow so I can get some crutches? Oh man. Dilly Dilly says we only get a certain amount of words. Yeah, that's cool. Just you make multiple comments. That's fine. You don't have to fit everything into one comment. Mike Z says, "Do you have any thoughts about going back into the military?" For myself, no. I'm too. They wouldn't take me. I'm broken. They don't want my old broken ass back up in there. What would I do? Pass out water to the guys that are doing the real work? That's about all I'd be good for at this point. Um, I'm Kia Lynn says, "I really enjoy your content. I learn something new every time I watch." Thank you. Guffelin says, "How are you?" Amazing. In recent years with liberal policies. Uh-oh, ASAP's about to go into politics. Watch out, y'all. It's about to get real. Chacha says, "I don't think people really count how many people they kill." Well, some people do. I met a World War II vet who's the livingest guy with the most kills. And he's proud of that shit. He let me know. He's like, "I'm telling you, I'm the one." And I wish I could remember his name because it was me. I was in a business meeting with a friend of mine that uh, healthcare startup that he was starting, and then the other gentleman we were meeting with was his business partner, which was a retired admiral in the Navy. So we're all meeting, me and the admiral meet in the hallway. We're shaking hands like, "Hey, sir, what's going on?" He's like, "What's happening, man?" And then homeboy comes in his wheelchair from World War II, and he tells us these insane stories about his brothers went to war first and got killed, and his whole life's goal was just going to Germany and killing as many Nazis as he could, right? And he's just telling us like he was sneaking into German camps and cutting people's throats. I was like, damn, this dude is a let me and the admiral are like we were calling him sir. Like the admiral was standing in parade rest. So some people do talk about it, but hell, when you're 111 years old, you could talk about it then. Especially when there's a Wikipedia page that I need to remember his name so I can look him up and share him with you guys because he was freaking awesome. He was in D.C. going to the Arlington Cemetery for a celebration they were doing for the survivors, the people who are still alive from World War II. Gets in that tray, says their faces never leave. Yeah. Weight missing camaraderie. I understand. Line cross. No, no, no. You don't have to apologize. I know you didn't mean any harm. I know your heart's in the right place. I'm just letting you know as a friend, you ask the wrong person that question, you're going to get your ass handed to you. And I don't want that to happen to you because I don't think you meant ill by asking the question. I just want to warn you. You ask the wrong person and they are going to lose their ish on you. So just be aware of it, that's all. I have found it tough for personal motivation after ETS. Yes, because motivation isn't the answer, man. You got to find your desire. And so what I tell guys, I met with a Marine a couple years ago who was working a cubicle job. We call it cubicle hell in my world, and that's murder for a frickin' devil dog infantryman sitting behind a desk doing whatever, maybe managing a small team. And some guys can make that work, but some guys can't, man. Some guys are not made for that corporate putting a suit on bullshit. Right? Some guys, I know a guy right now, an operator who I worked with in the corporate world who murders in that world, and he's happy as a pig in slop, right? So part of it's just kind of your temperament. But he was not doing okay. He was just like, bro, what am I doing here? So the thing I was trying to teach him was, listen, you've got to find the battle after the war. You got to find something else to fight for. And it needs to be something big. It can't just be getting a promotion or making 100K. Like I remember like decades. How long has it been? When I was talking about making my first, job, making 100K a year back in the day. And I thought that was my point when I was gonna have arrived. And then you realize that's not even a goal. Like it just happens when you do good work. But if you're doing work and that money's coming in, but it's not something that you believe in as a warrior who's tasted death, it can be hard. And I'm not saying that's the way it is for everybody, but that's the way it is for a lot of people. So you got to find something that you want really, really bad in this life. And for you as a soldier, I'm going to tell you, it has to be something outside of yourself. It's got to involve you doing something for someone else because you, for better or for worse, you were conditioned to believe that we is greater than me. That's why my catchphrase in all my videos and stuff is "We are stronger than I." I end all my live streams with that. That's not an accident, right? That's the reality of who I am. So you have to find another dragon to fight. Otherwise, you'll pass away like my dad did. Unfortunately, at the end of his life, in the last 10 years, like when he passed, I remember the chaplain that was at the house helping the family go through it all, and he's like, "Hey, I need your son to be a little bit more upset. Everyone in the family's crying and bawling, and he's just like he's on watch. Like, what's going on with you, son?" I was like, this is what I do. When there's chaos, that's when I come alive. But the truth of the matter was, I watched my dad die for 10 years because he was just wasting away on the couch, man. He didn't, and I really tried to get him into stuff. Like, Dad, start coaching football again. Do PT with me, and he just had lost the fire. And when you lose the fire, it's hard. Uh, Now, granted, he's biologically my grandfather, so he was an older guy, right? But it's not like he died young or anything. He was 85 years old, for God's sake. But at the same time, um, you got to find that. My dad couldn't find that dragon to fight after his third retirement. It was like military, then corporate, working with the military. Then he was the dean of University of Maryland, and it just after those fights, he kind of rode off into the sunset. And it was like, warriors don't ride off into the sunset that well, man. You got to find another dragon to fight. And usually the best dragons for us to fight are dragons that involve us helping other people. Man, I saw my man Nick here, and then TikTok tripped out. What up, Nick? Good to see you, brother. Lizzie says, "Hello, how are you?" I'm great. Lizzie is laughing at my basketball statement. I look like Orpheus. I don't know who Orpheus is. I hope he or she, depending on what you're comparing me to, is a sexy bastard because that's what I am. Uh, Kira says I use my Kindle for convenience, but I always prefer, and I always get hardback books because I'm really hard on stuff. So having a hardback book is always best for me. Broken Suba says, "Have you heard of the Black Hours book? It was an hourly prayer book in medieval times. I'm making something similar. Has me excited." No, I need to look that up, man. Invisible Fly. What soccer? Have you played soccer? I played soccer for like 3 days, and then I quit the day of my first game because I wasn't interested. I wish I could stay, but I got to work in the morning. Take it easy, BJ. Have a good night. Extravagant minimalist says The Matrix. Oh, you're talking about Morpheus, not Orpheus. I think the spell check got you. Rugby is a real contact sport. I agree. Motivator says, I disagree with you on that. Had a buddy who was better at basketball than football. I'm just saying, he may be amazing at football. I mean, he may be amazing at basketball, but it's because he couldn't cut it as a football player. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Is if you have it, because my buddy played basketball too. I just think basketball is the softer side of Sears. It's for the man who's more sophisticated. It's like the white collar sport, right? It's sophisticated and a little dainty. Football is for the real, and I'm joking, by the way. The reason why I made that joke is because I suck at basketball. It strokes my ego to make fun of basketball players because, as I said, I got tossed out of my last basketball game for tackling a man. So clearly, if I'd had some self-awareness, I would have realized I was in the wrong sport. What up, big guy? Dare to Dare says, hey, B. Thought I'd check in. Seems all is well. Man, all is great. Bryce says, don't kid yourself. Kid myself about what, Bryce? Be specific. Got a jet, so you take care. Bryce says, hell yeah, got him. All right, I don't understand how to read people's comments. Maybe Bryce isn't talking to me. Spider Bite says, what do the coins on the headstones mean? What headstones? And what coins are you talking about? The guy's name by chance. No, it was not Audie Murphy. Of that you can be sure that I did not meet, because I was talking about the guy who is alive with the highest kill count, not the highest kill count, period. Bless his soul, Sand Ghost. God bless you, TikTok. I hate this. Does this all the time. On point, thank you. Yeah, man, no worries. I know the struggle, but civilian life feels like a death trap at times. It is. That's exactly what it is because, you know, the hardest thing about transitioning, and let me be really, really specific because it's hard to transition from the military to civilian life. It is multiply that by I don't know what number, pick a number that works for you. When you are a combatant, because there are military jobs that mirror civilian life really well, especially in the Air Force, right? There are a lot of jobs that the Air Force does that civilian people do, right? That's why when I tell people, it's like if you want the military to be a career stepping stone, the Air Force is probably your best bet. And I'm not saying that to be derogatory or make fun of the Air Force, because everybody loves the Air Force when you need a freaking warthog to come bail you out of a bad fight. But when you are a direct boots on the ground combatant and then you have to come back to the real world, it's literally the hardest part of making that transition is that everything you did in that other environment mattered. Now people are upset with you because you said something in the office that hurt Lisa's feelings. And it's like, word? What did I say that hurt? And I'm just making up names, right? You hurt Megan's feelings when you said this about our project. Oh, when I said that you asked me to evaluate the project, and I said if this was any other business, if this was my billionaire that I used to work for, I'd tell him divest immediately because the ROI is garbage. Yeah, you made Megan feel bad because she works really hard. It's like, this has nothing to do with Megan. In fact, I'm not talking about Megan. I'm talking about Megan's shitty leadership that has her doing this dumbass job. Megan is an effing rock star. You can tell her I said that too. I'm talking about the leadership making bad strategic decisions about what to do with this company. Tell Megan she's fine and I love her and I think she's a great American. Like, I actually had to stop to have that conversation. This is a real conversation. I'm changing the names and the scenarios, so I don't make anybody feel bad or, out somebody. But I had to have that conversation with somebody. Like, what are you talking about? Right? On the battlefield, Megan's feelings are never going to be hurt. When you have to, like, when I had a soldier who was really new at Army, right? We went to do. My boss came and got me. He's like, Brian, have the guys ready. We're going to go do an ambush here in about an hour. I said, Roger that, sir. Got it. We rolled out to go do the ambush, and I'm starting to set up the perimeter security for all my guys to make sure that we have 360 degrees. Is 360? Is that a circle? Whatever. Coverage, so we can set up in position and hit these dudes and get the hell back home before it gets dark. All right. I start positioning my guys, and I forget in the process, I had been training for 7 years leading up to this night, right? Part of the time was as a cadet, but I went to a college where we trained. It wasn't just bullshit classwork. We went to the field, we got shot at, when we trained a lot of, we ran a lot of infantry sticks lanes, even when I was in school. So I was prepared, and then once I got into the real army and started doing it for real. But I had a handful of guys that were new, like they were new to Army. Forget war, they were new to wearing a uniform and didn't have 7 years of people yelling at you in this environment. And I remember after I started setting the people up, and my other brother in charge of the other unit next to me, he's setting his guys up because we took everybody. And my brother Chris, he was making fun of me. He's like, you were enjoying this shit way too much. I was like, I know, man, isn't it crazy? And I turn around, and one of my guys that I had just put him in position and gave him what's called sectors of fire. So I'm telling him, you're shooting from that tree to that house over there. If anything that smells like an enemy walks in between those points, light them the fuck up. Right? That's how we do this. I turned around after I got everyone in position. He's standing in the middle of a road with his rifle. And I was like, dude, come here. Do you see that little brick halfway blown up building right there? Will you please march your little happy ass into the building so that you have cover and concealment? And I had to think, oh, this dude probably has never even heard of cover and concealment. And I'm not shitting on my guy. My guys are freaking rock stars. They're just, some of these dudes were new and they didn't know better. They hadn't been trained for this type of fight. And so, do you think his feelings were hurt? Because I was like, dude, get in the fucking house and get cover, dude, because if they shoot over here, you are at a disadvantage. Do you think I had to, get counseled by the colonel? Hey, man, when you said that, Byron's feelings were really hurt when you did that. That's hard. That is a hard transition to make, because everyone's damn feelings get involved in everything. And in the real world, everything matters. On the battlefield, only the shit that actually matters. And that is a hard transition to make for any human soul who's ever put on a uniform. So I get it. I get the frustration. I get the nights where you can't sleep. I get my friend who got shot in the face, literally, not Call of Duty bullshit, shot in the face 3 inches from taking the back of his head off in Afghanistan on a bad jump. They hit an LZ that was hot. And he's trying to save other people's lives. His adrenaline's going so far through the roof, he didn't even know he had been shot through the face trying to save other people's lives who had bad landings, right? Yeah, so when he gets home, he has some struggles to deal with. I get it. Of course you do. Because your boss at home, like I remember even coming home in the military with a new command structure. The commanders, the big commanders who we went to war with were not the dudes we went home with. And a bunch of those dudes had never been in combat. And they were fussing at us about, hey, did you know that the brigade commander was upset that the briefing was not in the right font? Fuck the brigade commanders worrying about the font. Bitch, we just got home from hell. What are you talking about? You see what I mean? So that's a hard transition for a human soul to make. Period. So yeah, I get it. But you need to figure out what the next battle looks like. And you're not going to find the same type of camaraderie unless you surround yourself with people who get it. Right? And you better find a mission that you effing believe in. You better find another dragon to fight, and God help you, that dragon better include helping other people. Otherwise, you're never going to be happy. And I'd hate to see you go out like I imagine you're not 80 years old, but I hate to see you just waste away on a couch like my dad did. So when I told that chaplain, when he's like, why aren't you crying? I was like, I've been prepared for my dad. My dad, to me, in a lot of ways, has been dead for 10 years. Like, and that sounds brutal and that sounds harsh. No, this guy's my hero. I'm not criticizing him. I just saw him lose his fire 10 years ago. I've been preparing for this for 10 years because me and my dad have a connection that not everybody else can understand, because we've been there. We've seen the death and then had to come back to freaking bullshit fairyland where people are upset because you use the wrong goddamn pronoun to talk about another human being. And all of a sudden you got to get labeled as all these different things. It's like, you don't know my life. You don't know where I've been. You don't know the death we've had to see. And you're going to really be up in arms because I didn't say the right word that the council of 24-year-old graduates from Berkeley decided we're not allowed to say this shit anymore. And now I got to be a misogynist and a bigot and all this other bullshit that's not true. You don't know the people who I'm fighting for in the trenches every day, the people I'm standing up for that believe in the same shit that you preach about and go to marches about, but I'm actually fucking helping people. Right? You see what I mean? So if that doesn't paint the picture for you, my brother, and I know it does, I'm just saying all of that to say, I get it. I totally get it. All right. Did I use enough cuss words? Everybody get where I'm coming from. And I got through all of that, and TikTok did not threaten to ban me. Good job, TikTok. You're learning. You're getting better. So yeah, I get that it feels like a death trap, but that is a limiting belief that you need to get rid of. Get off your ass and go make life about somebody else. No woe is me. You're not a woe is me person. Get off the couch and go figure it out. That's the commission, man. You got to do it. And yes, it's harder to do it in civilian life because out here, people don't even know that they need your help, especially in the professional world. You know how many companies I've tried to fix that didn't want to be fixed? And I just watched them flail around like a bunch of idiots. Like right now, I'm in position. I could sue one of them if I wanted to and win the hell out of that suit. Not going to do it. Because it's one of those things where, like, Jesus is like, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. They weren't intentionally trying to hurt me. They're just idiots and cowards. So I'm going to let that ride, at least for now. Maybe I'll change my mind later. Anyway, coronavirus better beat it. Yeah. Let's see. He said soft. Have you ever watched a baseball game? Yes, I actually played baseball. As a kid, I didn't I didn't play baseball at any higher level than Little League. I was a pitcher though. I was an accurate as hell pitcher, but I had no speed. We had two pitchers on our team. We had Reggie, who pitched like 1,000 miles an hour as a 12-year-old, and then you had me. But Reggie would throw a pitch into the stands. It was like you didn't know what you're going to get with Reggie. You knew the pitch was going to be on target with me. It just wasn't going to be very powerful. Dun, 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 dun. Do you have any video games you like? Yeah, I got a whole. Here, there you go. There's some of my collection right there. The NES and the old stuff's on the bottom, and then it works its way up to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One at the top. And then, like, my special game shelf is over there. All my favorite games are on that shelf, or like my rare Japanese stuff. So yeah, I actually collect video games. It's like one of my only hobbies besides weightlifting and running and doing crazy workouts. Uh, it's because people only want to hear what they want to hear. Whining, bitching, moaning, whining. Wait, 360 is a circle? I don't know. Don't try to get me to do geometry. I got a D in that class. How am I always live? I prioritize it. D. Moran says, thank you. Very true, brother. And that right there is how my family. Raven said I went into corrections. Cool, man. You should have written it in Comic Sans to troll it. My man, Madtown Warrior. What's up, homie? Slay the dragons. I'm going to try to get an email out. I need to figure out what my schedule is going to be like tomorrow when I'm playing Mr. Mom to all my kids. Because tomorrow is their first day of real school. So once I get that figured out, I'm going to get on your calendar, man, to try to get this podcast done. Sango says, love the advice. Looking to burn the couch. Yes, burn that bitch down. I could listen to this for hours. Madtown Warrior says, no. My fish drowned again. Negative, not enough. Never enough would lay bare. No, you didn't. I'm not offended yet. You got a podcast? I do. It's called the Bryant Chambers Movement. Anywhere you like to listen to podcasts, you will find it. My man Daniel's in the house. I didn't spell that right. Thank you for making my pawpaws day. I made your pawpaws day? Awesome. How did I do that? Hey, sir. What's up, Sarge? Let's go back to YouTube right quick. We are better than I. Have a great evening, brother. Be safe, be aware, be you. Much love to you and your family. Much love to you too, Jim. Love you, brother. Stay strong. Uh, let's see. John Bernard says, I mean, you are what you eat. Where do you get your sexy bastards? I'm just tuning in. Sexy time. Can someone explain? Look at my face. This is sexy time. You understand? That's what sexy time is. Me. Anywhere I'm at is sexy. That's just the way it goes. And listen, call it arrogance. I just know what I am. I'm very self-aware of my sexiness. All with my gap tooth too. I'm sexy as hell. Watch out. All right. Extravagant minimalist says definitely sexy though. Adam Bell says, I've never been to war and I will never get used to the corporate world of triviality and small-mindedness. Yes, it's very hard to do. That probably means you've got some entrepreneur DNA and you need to explore that. You need to give it a place to fly free, man. Michael says, I'm in college and your girl rejected you and she said she wanted to be my best friend and I told her, no, we are never going to be friends. However, we got into these intense fights that lasted for hours. Okay, that's a very interesting story. Thank you for sharing that with us. D. Moran says, all fun and games till I show up. With How God Greets His Soldiers poem. Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot of people got some good out of that, man. I didn't know anybody was going to watch me do that. I recited that at my dad's funeral, man. There were no dry eyes even in the house. Not even Colin Powell, who was seated somewhere in the middle of the church. Yep. And it was funny, too, because my dad and Colin Powell were, my dad was a bit older than him. But it's just funny because the MC of the event goes to my mom. It's the funniest thing in the world because my dad and let's just say my dad and Colin Powell are not best friends. I don't think they disliked each other. They had mutual respect, but they weren't exactly hanging out together, as far as I know. And I could tell you some stories offline, but the MC at my dad's funeral sees Colin Powell come in, and that's a big deal, right? It's Colin Powell, and he goes to my mom and he's like, "Ma'am." And so the MC is actually a guy that worked for my dad back when I was a little kid. Great freaking human being, man. I love that guy. He ran everything. He ran operations for the funeral. It was amazing. He put all the soldiers in place. He did the color guard. It was awesome. And so he kind of walks over to my mom quietly during the service and says, "Man, Colin Powell just walked in. Do you want us to give him an opportunity to speak about Dad?" She's like, "Bruh, he will come out of the casket if you let Colin Powell speak at this funeral." I was like, freaking hilarious, man. It's great, And he came out. I shook his hand on the way out. It was cool. I respected him for showing up, man. I thought that was pretty cool of him. And I haven't seen him since I was a baby. But yeah, man, it's good times. But yeah, I read that at my dad's funeral, dude, and it's pretty cool. A lot of people. I actually didn't read it. I memorized it. I had it on my phone just in case I got stuck or started crying, but because it's a hard poem to get through without crying. I actually cried off camera because the time runs out, and I was like, thank God, because I started tearing up. Not that I'm afraid to cry on video. I've done it before. It's just I wanted to capture that without me crying for the people who wanted to watch it and get something good out of it. All right. Gonna go, says Dilly Dilly. Keep pushing. Have a great night, brother. You too, man. Have a great one. Bryce says, I got my gap between my two front ones. Man, you need to duet my gap tooth video. Show your gap teeth people are sexier, bro. I'm trying to tell y'all. Especially women with gap teeth. It's sexy. Sport them, ladies. Don't try to hide them joints. Smile. He's almost completely blind and he cried. Wow. Thank you for sharing that with me, man. That's a blessing to hear. I'm glad the poem is blessing people. Damn, old boy. Got to meet you one day. Yeah, why not, man? I would love to do, because I wanted to do this back when I was building my YouTube community, and then I realized YouTube didn't give a crap about me building a community because their platform doesn't allow it. But I'd love to do like a community live meetup for all the people on TikTok, man. Just hang out, have some food, some desserts. If you guys drink, let you guys have some drinks. The drinks of your choice. I'll probably be drinking water. Um, what college did you go to? Did it have ROTC? Hampton University, and yes, one of the best ROTC programs on the planet. I stand by that. At least when I went through. I imagine they're still pretty badass though. Like all of my instructors were freaking tabbed out Rangers and combat veterans. It was a host of gangsters who were my instructors, man. NCOs and officers. But they were not a game, and they genuinely loved us, man, in the best kind of way to help us become whatever it is we became. What's up, brother? What's up, Oz, man? I'd love to read what you said, but TikTok did its favorite thing where it jumps to the bottom of the screen. Your videos are always on point, brother. Thanks. How can I get on ThinkSpot? Just go to thinkspot.com and request membership, and they'll put you on the waiting list. It took me, I think, about 6 months. I think they're doing it faster now, so you probably won't take you as long. Much respect for you, man. Salute. Thank you. Good evening, sir. What's up, Storm? Bryce says all OG. Let's go back to YouTube. Adam Bell says, oh no, that's not Adam Bell. Oh yeah, it is Adam Bell. I think you might be right. I may be hiring your services soon. Okay, I'll be here, man. Pocket Thought says, you're fine with the cuss words. David Goggins be cussing like crazies. I didn't used to as much, but I had to be honest with myself. I was like, should I talk to my audience the way I actually talk, or should I keep censoring myself? And I was like, eventually, if I keep censoring myself, it's just going to come out, and then it's going to be a much bigger shock. And I'm not stupid. Like, I know there's places where like, I don't go to my kid's school recitals like, fuck yeah, son, great job. Like, I wouldn't do something like that. That's silly. But a lot of times, and my dad taught me about language when I was very young, when I started to learn cuss words. He's like, you have to understand, words have power. He's like, it's more about using them appropriately than it is worrying about good and bad words. And I took it even further with my kids. I said, there's no such thing as bad words. There's just hypersensitive ass people in the world that get offended by stuff. And it's not always their fault that they're sensitive. They're conditioned to believe, whether it's religious, that it's evil to say the word shit, which I think is hilarious. But, if somebody believes that, I'm not going to walk in somebody's church dropping F-bombs. Like I've done shows with my band, although my band was more on the kind of contemporary Christian side, so we didn't cuss. I think the worst thing we'd probably say at a show was hell. But I've done events where I'm speaking where it's like, hey, can you work clean? Of course I can. A lot of my public speaking events, I don't use a lot of language, but I use a lot of language with you guys because I'm trying to disrupt thinking patterns, right? And so I'm doing what my dad taught me, is using language as a way to focus people's attention on what's actually important. So a lot of the words that I'm using, even when they are quote unquote cuss words, it is calculated what I'm saying. It's not just I'm angry and it's I'm generating a lot of emotion around something that I'm passionate about, and I'm going to use an F-bomb right here. Because I know from speaking, when you talk to people for 3 hours, they tune out. Nobody listens to me. Even people that stay on entire streams, they're not listening to every word I'm saying. They're tuning out. Some of you are probably on your computers or doing other stuff on a tablet and just have me playing in the background. And all that's fine, right? We all do that. But it's when I'm making a point that I need to land, then I'll start, taking the language up. And so I was kind of just soul searching over the last 2 years, like, I should probably talk the way I actually talk when I'm with my inner circle of people, right? And I was like, maybe not quite that, because it's not just the words that we're using. There are things I talk about in my inner circle that I don't talk about in public because they're very nuanced and they're hard. especially when there are things that I don't know what I believe yet, or I haven't fully worked out my thoughts. There are things that can be taken the wrong way and potentially hurt people. But I just came to a point where this is how I talk when I'm talking to my wife, and when I'm passionate about something, I use words for emphasis, right? And not for shock factor, just to try to help people focus. This, like what I just said, is really important. And I use words to disrupt. I mean, a lot of the things that I teach, a lot of the things that I talk about, come from like Judeo-Christian ethics, right? And a lot of what I try to do in that space when I'm working with like people who believe in Jesus and stuff like that, I'm trying to disrupt the bad teaching that they've gotten for all these years from pastors that mean well, but just they're teaching them like, your whole purpose in life is not to drink, not to smoke, not to have sex, and not to use bad language. And it's like, Pastor, you got to do a better job than that. These kids are out here with crack dealers and rapists. Like, you can't. The message, like, Jesus would not be okay with these watered down, feel good messages. You got to tell people the real, and you can't have people thinking they're going to hell because they dropped an F bomb. That is a waste of human time. Like, if that's what you're teaching, stop teaching. Like, it's so a lot of times I'll use language specifically because that'll get people's attention, and at first it'll offend, but it's what Paul said, right? He's like, if what I'm doing offends you, but it draws you towards the truth of Christ, I'm all in. I'm glad I offended you. It's the same principle, right? So, because a lot of what I'm teaching comes out of those type of ethics and stoic ethics, it's like, well, I should probably drop an F-bomb here because they'll expect me not to. But then I'll get their attention, and then I'm nothing if not interesting if I do that. And then, but people are like, I hate that he just, and I get messages like, I hate that you use this language. Everything you say is so great. I said, yes, but you're listening, right? And I'm breaking you out of probably decades of teaching where pastors have taught you to focus on how you dress when you go to church, what words you say, instead of teaching you how to live a life, how to find what God created you to be, and how to take that energy and turn it into something good in the universe. So half the reason why people are strung out on drugs and alcohol and pornography and all these vices that are very much hurting people is because they haven't found something they care about enough to want to pursue it. And so it's, why not get high? Because it makes you feel good. If life isn't giving it to you, where are you going to get it? You're certainly not going to get it in Sunday school. And I'm not hating on Sunday school. I've sat in Sunday school classes that were taught by PhDs, and I learned a ton from these folks. But what I'm saying is, it's not, like, that's not where people aren't coming alive in Sunday school. I don't care how many video game machines and how much dance music you got going in there. You're trying to entertain people. Stop trying to entertain people and tell them the fucking truth, which is we're all going to die one day. So you might want to get your hands on this plow and do something that matters. Right? And all your vices, all these things that are holding you back are because you are too scared to pursue something that God really created you to do, because you're scared to fail, which really means you're scared to be judged by other people. But those people don't matter. Right? So it's, I had to get honest with myself and just be like, I need to be real. I don't. Like even, Tony, my business partner, would sit in meetings with me, and I use a lot of metaphors from warfare, and then he'll translate. He's like, what he means is, he's not killing anybody, but what he's trying to educate me on is like, people in the civilian world can be put off. I said, well, people in this part of the civilian world can be put off. I said, I had a boss that used to call me eye candy. Like, I don't know what hypersensitive, like, it was complete sexism, and I thought it was hilarious. I mean, even one time, and she's my favorite boss I've ever worked for in life. She was amazing and taught me a ton about business. And she said something to me at work, and I was just screwing with her. I said, you say that because I'm black? And then she got real close. She was like, bruh, you are not black. Look at yourself in the mirror. You don't even look black. I won't tell you what else she said because it was between us, and I'm in tears laughing. That is an EEO diversity HR complaint in any company that isn't doing real stuff. But I thought it was freaking hilarious because this woman was like a mentor, boss, mom to me. She raised me in business. You kidding me? She can say whatever she wants. So I come from a different world, and I try to bring that to you guys, Raven says, good night, early morning tomorrow for this guy. Yeah, me too. I'm about to get up out of here and go to sleep myself. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything from you guys. Joe Star, what's up, G? Yo, what's going on, Sensei? Ain't nothing to it, man. Back to the grind till Valhalla, brother. Till Valhalla, my man. Storm is heading to work. Good evening, sir. Word up. TikTokery. Hey, Reno Sente, thank you for the follow, man. Bless you. Or lady. I don't know which you are. Uh, Adam Bell says, anyway, thanks again. Off to night shift. Enjoy yourself, man. Try to find some joy in the midst of the struggle. It's always there. Just look for it. Pocket Thought says, live meetup would be fire. Yeah, I would love to meet you guys in real life. I cannot run the event because I am not an event planner or an event runner. It's not my skill set. I'm not sociable. I'm not that guy. But I would love to be at an event that somebody else set up and to meet all of you wonderful, crazy human beings. Johnny Joestar says, yo, what's up, Sensei? Glad I caught the live stream. Yeah, me too, man. Says, damn straight, I'm a smoke because I enjoy being stoned. I don't use it to cope. I use it to pat. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it in a way that's not hurting you and it's not illegal and going to get you in trouble and it's giving you some semblance of joy, man. I mean, honestly, obviously it has different chemical effects, but it's the same reason why people play video games, right? It's to be excited. Right? Because life is mundane. I mean, do you realize that throughout history, and I mean human history, I don't mean World War II, I mean human history, do you understand that wars were started because people were bored? Do you understand that in World War I, countless number of men, 15 years old, lied and said they were 18 because their farm life was so mundane. Anything, even dying or getting their legs chopped off, was more exciting than living on that dusty-ass farm. It's pretty interesting when you think about it. And, it's not like the people who were signing them up for the army didn't know that they weren't 18. It's like, all right, if you want to throw yourself into this meat grinder, have at it. Right? Yeah. I think we're all looking for some level of excitement. Some people find it in a bottle. Some people find it in drugs. As long as it's not causing you some type of life-destroying situation, then enjoy responsibly, man. And as long as it's legal where you are, rock the hell on. Yeah. I'm not about to condemn nobody for what's, if it's getting you up in the morning and it isn't stopping you from being awesome, then live and let live, man. Pocket Thought says, I have that struggle. One side wants to be ladylike, the other is, bitch, step aside. Cuss words are emotional markers when decent words aren't enough. Exactly. That's a perfect way to say it. I'm totally stealing that, Pocket. I am stealing that line. That's 100% right. Exactly. What you just said. It's showing emphasis. 100%. And Pocket Thoughts, I'll say this to you. I understand the internal struggle. I mean, let me say it this way. I can empathize because I'm not a woman. I can't say I completely understand it, but I can certainly empathize with having an internal conflict about being ladylike and being bitch step aside. And I will tell you that to the right people, the bitch step aside is ladylike. We put people into these boxes, right? So like if I'm a black person, right, this social construct called race. Now I'm not talking about ethnicity or culture, right? I come from Africa, Asia, and Europe, right? So there's some ethnicity to me that is just where my blood comes from. But when you talk about a social construct like race, like me being a black person, there's certain things that are expected of me because I'm given that box to fill in. Well, I can tell you, I spent a lot of time growing up getting criticized by other quote unquote blacks. I got called white boy and all these different things. And I don't mean in like a funny way, like in a derogatory way. Right? Which is fine, man. There are shitty people everywhere. But you got to just be what you are. And what I'd hate for you to do is there's this false social construct of what it means to be ladylike. Right now, I'm okay with you being bitch step aside as long as you're willing to, and I know you would be because you're a strong soul, but just be aware there are some consequences you're going to incur from the bitch step aside, which is women we expect women to be more submissive, right? Humans, by the way. Subconsciously, we expect people to behave in accordance with the stereotypes we've created for them and the stereotypes that have been upheld. So we especially expect white women to be submissive and smiling and barefoot and pregnant and all these things. Uh, Black women is a little bit different, but it doesn't go much better for them either. But just know that the bitch step aside is going to cost you a lot with especially insecure men. And if you're okay with incurring that cost, then rock on. And don't worry about being ladylike. You know what I mean? Just be you. Just know that being you comes with a price tag. And if you're willing to pay that price, then, and I say everybody should be willing to pay that price for just being who you are, get in there and do it. Joe Star says, hell yeah, I try to be as productive as I can. Can't be a better person if I'm sitting on my ass. 100%, man. I can dig that. Uh-oh, Hari's dropping some knowledge. So, do you remember when opium was legalized in China? I don't remember when that happened. It had a downturn. Opium was legalized, so people were in daze and felt high and mindless. I can believe that with opium. Opium will do that. It'll also make you constipated, so be careful out there. Somebody saw my NES right here. You know that thing still works? That's my original NES from. I got my NES in 1989. I was late to the party as a kid. Uh, my parents were not about the. Like, I always got the toys. What's weird, because I got some toys like at the appropriate time, but then there were other toys that I got that I was way late to the party, like a Nintendo. My parents, I ain't buying, because I actually, believe it or not, I didn't get a Nintendo until the Sega Genesis was out, and I was begging, Mom, I want to get a Genesis, please. She's like, you don't need that shit. All right. I actually wanted a Sega Genesis, and then I ended up getting an NES for Christmas that year. And I wasn't disappointed. The NES was great, but I wanted a Sega Genesis because I didn't have, the only console I had before the NES was the Commodore 64. And technically that's a PC or whatever, but yeah, so I was late, man. I didn't get on that video game bandwagon until most kids had moved on to other stuff, playing the Genesis, um, stuff like that, man. So it's cool. Anish Podar says, Bryant, do you think there's a biological tendency for women to be more submissive, or is it just purely a social construct? Well, I think there's biology involved in that, outside of the, extreme outliers, women are just biologically smaller. They're biologically less strong, usually, right? So when I'm talking about submissive, what I'm really saying is our subconscious expectation with women is that they're not going to be overly assertive, right? So passive is probably a better word than submissive in this case. And so when a woman is being very assertive, oftentimes, especially if she is a white woman, she's immediately going to be kind of labeled as a bitch. It's not different for black women. It's just, remember, it's about stereotypes, right? So the stereotype is people expect black women to be kind of bitchy, and they accept it. And so that in the real world, it does cost them social currency, but it doesn't always cost them necessarily. Sorry about this, guys. It doesn't necessarily cost them, like, as they're moving up the ladder. It can. It's a pretty nuanced topic, and there's always exceptions to the rule and to the study. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously biology plays a factor, because there's very few women in the world, even the strongest ones, who could beat up, the strongest men, and be able to physically defend themselves. Of course, there's exceptions. I almost got beat up at a club in Germany by a very small woman who spun my big ass completely around. When I got spun around, I spun around with my hands up, ready to fight, because I thought it was a dude that was getting ready to fight me, because I accidentally maybe bumped into his girlfriend or something. I turned around. I didn't even see the lady. She was so small. I was like, who grabbed me? And she's like waving in my face, and I looked down like, oh. So in my mind, I'm thinking this German woman I'm thinking because I'm not the type of dude that's gonna walk up and grab a woman. That's some cowardly bitch man bullshit. But I assumed that I accidentally touched her, like brushed up against her as I was walking, and she's just in my face. I was like, "Ma'am, I don't know sprechen Sie Deutsch." Let's start there. Secondly, whatever I did to you, I'm sorry. Like we can be friends. I don't want to get my ass beat by a 5'1" German lady because you look for real. What I found out after the fact was I actually I attracted a lot of. I went to only two clubs, but if you can read people, you can tell when a woman's into you. It's very easy because it's in the eyes. Uh, but this, I was in a lot of the clubs. It's like these German women, especially the bigger German women who could probably look me in the eye, were like, very large kind of brown man. Let us see what he has. And one of them was super fly. This is before I was married, by the way, guys. I wasn't shaking it at the club as a married guy. But what I found out was the two ladies who had brought us to the club were ladies that worked for my dad when he was there, and it was me and my brother hanging out with these two ladies. And and they were married. They were just taking us out on the town, doing my dad a favor, taking his sons around. Or one of them was married, and the other one I think was just hanging. Anyway, one of the ladies with us goes into the bathroom where she's half German and half black. Little homegirl chases her into the bathroom, and I didn't see that happen, so I wasn't thinking anything of it. So she comes out of the bathroom. She's like, "Yo, B, do you see the lady over there?" I was like, "Yeah, that's the lady that was getting ready to kick my ass." She's like, "She's not trying to kick your ass. She likes you." She said she walked in the bathroom behind me, and she says, "The man you were with." This was her words. She says, "The man you were with, I want him." And she was like, "Well, feel free to come by our table." But by the end of the night, that lady, the little woman, was so drunk, she was forcibly making out with a man on the street, like against his will, like he was trying to fight her off. So my point is, there are some women that are exceptions to the rule, who could be very aggressive and not submissive at all. And I think some of that's cultural too. But yeah, man. So I think it's a mixture of both, Anish. Joe Star says, "Gotta hop off, man. Be back for the next one." Sweet. Visible Fly says, "Yes, living well means suffering for the right reasons, not avoidance of suffering." Word. DM Storm is up in the place. What's up, Storm? And that was the sum of my marriage being intimidating to man with Yeah, that's hard. That's so hard. To be a strong-willed woman, you have got to find a man. The bottom line is, and I'm assuming you're not married now, so if you're still married, there's obviously some help that you can get your husband. If you're not, if you are a strong-willed, very assertive woman, you have got to find a man, if you want to be married, who likes that, who's not only not afraid or insecure about it, but prefers his women to be assertive and strong with him, right? Um, I'm like that. And so my wife, she's a little bit more passive, but she can get hardcore, but then she feels bad. I'm like, don't feel bad. Say it. Say it like you mean it, Chief. Say it with your chest. You know what I mean? So when she's assertive, I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. What else do you need?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm not trying to say it." I was like, "No, say it like you mean it." I can respond very well to that. As long as it's not disrespectful, right? Because you always want to have the respect of the people that you love. But yeah, if you're a strong-willed, not soft-spoken, you speak your mind and you kick the hard truths, you got to find a man who appreciates. Like one of my boys, I think he's taken now, but he's like that. He's like, "Dude, just kick the truth to me. You don't have to. I don't have those type of feelings where you have to consider my ego as a man. Like I don't have an ego. I murdered my ego a long time ago. Sometimes it tries to resurrect itself, but then I just shoot it in the face again. Brother, look at my words here. What's up, Hari? Nancy Pants, what up? Women can be as strong as men. I've been that chick for sure. The switch is one of their best accomplishments. Man, I agree. My only beef with I bought the Switch early, thinking the game library was going to be very different, but I was an idiot because I'm not an idiot. I really didn't. I kind of fell for the marketing. I was really hoping the type of games I like would get released physically. They make a lot of games I like digitally, and I'm like, no, I'm a collector, man. I'm not buying this on the eShop. Like the spaceship shooters, the Axiom Verge type games of the world. And Axiom Verge has a physical copy. In fact, I think I have it for the Switch. But all the games that I like on the Switch are games that I have somewhere else, and it was really disappointing. I wanted to have the spaceship shooters, man, the running guns, the and all those games happen, but they're digital. And like Nintendo's been obsessed with making a lot of games that I'm just not interested in. And I'm like, I don't want to play Marvel versus Capcom 3, or maybe I'll play the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 eventually, but those games get boring. I was really disappointed. I was hoping to, because handheld gaming is the best way for me to game right now, because I don't get a lot of time to game, and it's usually when I'm in the bed trying to go to sleep. And I just really wish. And I hate Zelda. Let's start there. Platform games are boring to me. So a lot of what Nintendo's really good at making, I'm not interested in. They're gonna make a Metroid Prime 4. Hell, I haven't played Metroid Prime 1. My favorite game of all time is Metroid. And it's like, why not just make a 2D Metroid that's awesome, or another, Metroidvania? And you could say, well, Bloodstain. Well, Bloodstain on the Switch was broken. I have the PS4 version, and Bloodstain to me wasn't even that great because I didn't like Symphony of the Night. And no disrespect to Kigurashi, I think he makes dope games. It's just not my jam. So I agree with you. I think the Switch is was Nintendo doing what Nintendo does best, which is giving their fans what they want. I would love more Astral Chain type games, which I still haven't bought. And that's the other thing too, is Switch games never drop in price. Like I still want to get Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I have Xenoblade Chronicles X and haven't played that yet, so I need to play that. Hari says, "Take care, stay safe, man." Yeah. Nancy Pants also said something. Are you blaming my aggressive behavior on my Austrian heritage? Yes. But was that not clear that I was stereotyping you? Dudes are very intimidated by me. I can imagine. Well, when one of your TikTok videos starts with boobs, I'm going to post these boobs because you like them. Now get in here and like my video. And it's like, all right, done. I'm sure there's some men that are taken aback by that. But there's going to be men that like it too. Different strokes for different folks. Let's see. Jessica says, what about women that are intelligent and don't hide? It looks like she got cut off. Oh man, I wanted to read the rest of her statement. It looks like it got cut off. And don't hide. You shouldn't hide it, because if you're having to hide, but just keep in mind there's a difference between being intelligent and being condescending, and a lot of people don't understand. They need to. It's not that you're confident and assertive. It's that sometimes people can be condescending without trying to be. I knew a woman who was very unintentionally condescending, and she used to drive people in the office nuts. And it's just, how do you coach somebody like that? It's like they're just trying to be good people and help. They're not trying to talk down to people. But it's hard, man. So you got to find that fine line, too. And that goes for men, too. That's not just a woman thing. Games from the eShop are a win-win. They never get damaged, and you can never lose them. Yeah, but they can lose the license and get them taken off the eShop. And if your system gets reset, like my PlayStation 4 did, you can lose games that are no longer licensed. That's another reason why I don't like this all digital nonsense. Right? That pissed me off. I was keeping that game specifically for that reason. Power went out, my PlayStation 4 reset and deleted everything off the hard drive. Now, you could argue it's my fault that I didn't back up the hard drive. I'd agree with you. But if that game had been a physical copy, well, I wouldn't be having this problem. So yeah, I don't like digital games at all. I want and this is why honestly, I'm going back to playing older school. Like I'm kind of giving up on new school gaming because at this point in my life, I hate 90% of the new games that I play. I think are either they range from completely asinine and terrible to mediocre, and then every once in a while a Axiom Verge or a Near Automata will come out and change my life. But how often do you get a Near Automata? And even the original Nier was pretty dope. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Anish says, reminds me a little of She's the Man of the House video. Yeah. I'm personally not very assertive, but I prefer strong women myself. Not sure if that's it's not a recipe for disaster at all, man. It's fine. It's just your preference. That's totally cool. Thanks for the hilarious clubbing story. Makes the point perfectly. For sure, man. Anish, oh, I've read that one already. Matt Montgomery says, I want to find a video game that is as engaging as a great novel with aesthetics designed by some crazy professional artist. Hmm. Have you tried the Studio Ghibli games, like the level 5 joints, like Nino Kuni? Nier actually is a game. Like, try Nier on Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3. If you haven't played Nier, try that. Try Nier Automata as well. The art in that game is amazing, and the game, oh, the game. Nier Automata is the best game I've played in 25 years, easily. It's not even close. It's not. There's no even close second to how dope Platinum's Nier Automata is. It's the best game. Easily, it's the best game. So that's a PlayStation 4 game. It's the best game since PlayStation 4, since Xbox 360 generations. Better than every PlayStation 2 game I played. Better than every PlayStation 1 game I played. Better than every Xbox game. I'm trying to think, like, how many generations. Like, I'd have to go back to the NES to find a game that could compete with Nier Automata. My parents' relationship terrified me of relationships, and commitment altogether for a long time. Well, it makes sense if it was a bad relationship. Pocket Thoughts is still married, fighting tooth and nail to fix it. Why I started this self. Okay, cool. So yeah, the best advice I can give you if your husband is open to it is helping him see incentive in counseling that can help him build resilience, right? And I imagine if he's having issues with you, there's a good chance he had issues with the female authority in his life prior to you, like a mother or whomever raised him. I mean, I'm making a lot of assumptions about a person I've never even met before. But a lot of these things kind of are just, they're kind of what happens in life. So working with someone that can help him work out his insecurities and get him to delete the ego, because the ego is what's feeding all of that. You know, those insecurities are born out of fears that the ego is bringing to the table. You know, when you were, this is what I tell people: apex predator type people never have to stick their chest out at anybody. You know, does anybody think I walk the streets like flexing on people? I'm bigger than almost every person I know in the region where I live. Right now, obviously, there's people bigger than me, but like, do you think I'm walking down the street like, "Hey, Slim, look how bad I am. Look at me." Oh, no, that's what cowards do, and you see that type of behavior in like the hood too, where people are flexing and peacocking and "What's up, dog?" Like, I've been in places in D.C. where kids were flexing on me, and it's like I'm thinking to myself, this kid better be glad that he is a child, because if a man ran up on me like that, actually, if it had been a man, I probably would have just hit him with my car and kept moving. But it's people that need to flex have an ego problem, and they have a lot of fear and a lot of insecurity. Same thing with bullies. And it's until they can fix the things that make them insecure and build some confidence and then get rid of the ego that needs to be tough or awesome or assertive or whatever it is, and then that person starts overcompensating or blaming you for being narcissistic just because you kicked the truth, right? That's some That's some introspection that needs to go on in that situation. Matt Montgomery says, "Oh, dope. Yeah, try Near and Near Automata. They're great freaking games. Near got hated on pretty bad. It's got some rough patches in it, like the puzzles and some of the dungeons are annoying. But Near Automata is just glory to mankind. That's actually the catchphrase in the game. Glory to mankind. And Nier Automata is a game that I usually hate games that sell replay value. You actually have to play it more than once to get the complete story, but you can do it much faster. Like you'll beat the game 4 times in the time it takes you to beat the Witcher, you know, and you'll have a ball doing it because you're not just going through all the same sequences again. You're playing as different characters, so you're seeing the story from everybody's angle. But even if you don't do that, you still get a pretty complete story, even if you just beat it the one time. But it's worth getting the endings because it's an existential mind job. It's on the level with the Matrix. It's that freaking good, man. I don't understand how that game isn't like the darling. Like I don't understand how The Witcher beat that game, although I kind of do, because the younger people who game these days care about how long. It's 170 hours. I can't wait. Like nothing is fun for 170. Sex isn't fun if I got to do it for 170 hours straight. Like no, you'd be dead. Why would I want to play this? Like Witcher took me 100 hours to beat. I'm like, if these characters don't shut the hell up and just roll credits, I'm gonna go to Venderfell or wherever these people live and fight all of them. I've always felt that flexing was crazy. How do you know I'm not some psycho that will come back? Yeah, but that's what insecure, ego-driven people do. Nancy Pants says you can be intelligent and assertive. Yes, you can. The motivator is in the house still. That's what's up. Ever played Portal or Portal 2? Yes, I beat Portal. Didn't play Portal 2. One Portal was enough Portal for me. Jenny Germs says, "Amen. My 8-year-old worships you, and I really hope he soaks your. Wow, your 8-year-old watches me. That's terrifying. I hope he's not using my language. It's a blessing to hear. Wow, that's my own kids don't watch. Well, my wife does say my kids do watch my stuff, but that's awesome. Bless you, Jenny. I appreciate you sharing that with me. There are Studio Ghibli games. What rock have I been living under? Nancy Pants, Nino Cooney, and Nino Cooney 2, and the latest. No, that's not. Yeah, Studio Ghibli was in on Nino Cooney and Nino Cooney 2. I'm pretty sure it was them. Kevin Smith says, "Is there an email I can reach you for a question that is big in the detail for you to understand the full?" Yeah, contact at bryantchambers.com. Curry Connoisseur says, "Yeah." DM says, "Do you play any of the Call of Duties?" I play the campaigns. I don't do multiplayer because I suck at it. But I do. The last Call of Duty I played campaign was Infinite Warfare, and it was freaking amazing. And I did like a video on it on YouTube. Like, how did this game get hated on? And I imagine it's because the multiplayer sucks, but I don't care. I'll play the multiplayer. The freaking campaign was awesome. I enjoyed pretty much every minute of that. But yeah, there are Studio Ghibli games, Nancy Pants. Yeah, I played Portal. I don't typically like puzzle games, but I can take them if it's just puzzles and it's not like Zelda where I'm in the middle of an adventure and I gotta stop to solve the Hellraiser puzzle. Like, dude, just let me fight the dragon. But Portal was cool. I did enjoy that. Harris's dad, is that you? I don't think so. Your video of the soldier to heaven the other day saved my life. Wow, that's pretty strong, man. What's the least favorite game? What's up, Mads? Thank you, lady. Look at Mads in the house. What's my least favorite game I actually completed? Jesus, dude, I hate like. Here's what you have to understand. When I first went on YouTube, I was doing game reviews, right? I had decided in my media company, like we were doing marketing and building websites. I was like, I want to get in the entertainment space too, so I started doing game reviews. And what I learned by doing game reviews is that I hate most video games, and I love them. Oh, Madeline, you're too kind, lady. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. Um, and so I learned that, like, and so the short answer to your question is I hate so many video games I probably can't remember. I, especially video games made after the Super Nintendo, because that's where, like, as soon as N64 hit, I was like, I'm done. And I hated most PlayStation games. And then all of those systems usually have one game that I love, but man, I hate. And here's the other thing: like, if I really, really hate a game, I don't finish it. But in like recent times, one of the games I ended up hating, I didn't hate it at first, but it got terrible, was Dying Light. That was actually Dying Light, believe it or not, was the video that blew up my first YouTube channel because I had early access to it. I was working with the developers, and they're like, "Hey, man, we're gonna send you an early build of this game. Do you want it?" Like, yes. And so I started doing videos before the game dropped, and started getting all. You can't see it now because I took all those videos down when I started doing coaching and marketing stuff. But um, yeah, Dying Light at the end, like I was filming it to do my review, and my wife. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still playing this because I have obsessive tendencies. One of the things my doctors tell me, like when I'm like a pit bull. When I'm doing something, I won't quit. Like even when I should quit, I was like, I'm not going to bed angry. I'm gonna finish this freaking game. And I was cussing. My wife came downstairs like, why are you still awake? I was like, this fucking game. Ah! She's like, stop playing it. I was like, I can't, because then I'm a punk. I can't let the game beat me. I gotta win. And that game. Even the review, you can just hear I'm depressed. Like freaking Dying Light. But nowadays, when I usually I know I'm gonna hate a game before I play it. But when a game becomes hateful, I usually quit. I like nowadays I can actually quit games before I get to that point. I've had a lot of help. Madeline says obsessive tendencies. Not you. Just a little. Just a little, y'all. Nancy Plant says, ever played Doom? I'm sure, like the original Doom? Of course. Of course I've played Doom. No question. Thank you, Mads. You're awesome, lady. Much love to you. I really appreciate. Hey, Deadpool's here too. What's up, lady? Pro gamers. What game had the cheat code up, up, down, down? Oh, come on, man. It's Contra. Like I'm old, dude. That's not a trivia question to me. That's my childhood. I thought my TikTok broke for a second with the X's. Yes, I have played Doom. I don't think I've ever beat Doom though, believe it or not. That's kind of a scary thing to admit. Like you're not a real gamer. Nancy Pan says, yeah, the original. Yeah, no doubt. Yes, I have played Doom, never beat it. I actually liked Duke Nukem 3D better. I've beaten that game God knows how many times. Matter of fact, here's a fun trivia, or like a fun fact. It's not trivia because nobody cares about me. But Duke Nukem was the first game I ever played online. My boy figured out, like, he was like, dude, they're making this Duke Nukem 3D game. I was like, that's great. He's like, it's the people that made cool other stuff. I was like, all right, fine. He said, now get the game because we can play it online. I was like, what is playing online? Because you guys got to remember, this was the beginning of the internet, right? So we're still kids. And he's like, dude, get it. And I'm going to teach you how to set up your phone line and plug it into your computer and type in all these codes so we could play together. Like late at night when you're at home and I'm at home, we could just play when our parents won't let us hang out. And I was like, all right. And I was playing, and there was no chat. There was no headset. You had to type things to each other. So you'd shoot them in the face with a rocket launcher and then type, gotcha, bitch, or something like that. You know what I mean? It was the first online game I ever played. That would have been 1995 or 96. It's crazy, man. And then the connectivity we have today, you guys wouldn't know how to act if you were playing games when I was a kid. And most of you probably played the games I played as a kid, but it's like to you it's like a nostalgic. Oh, look, this is a history lesson, kids. Let's go to the gaming museum where all the old people play games. You know what I mean? Duke Nukem is my teenage summer. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that was my whole summer was playing Duke Nukem with my best friend. And now he hates it because he's like, we don't play games anymore. I'm like, bro, because I don't like anything anymore. You like Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I would rather jump out of the second story of my house and just see what happens than play freaking. I can't play Battle Royale games. I hate, like, the soldier in me hates that. Like, why in the hell are we parachuting it? Like, the first thing I would do if a Battle Royale was real, if I got to parachute in and fight all these stupid people, I'm going to read the map and figure out, okay, where's the best place to hold up? And I'm just going to let them all kill each other and then I'll run the place. But that's not something I'd want to do in a video game. So it's like we kind of grew video game wise. We grew apart. I started playing adventure games. He started getting into the online stuff, and I'm just like, I'm not interested, bro. Don't want to play. Yeah, and to answer the question, I don't know what my most hated game. Oh, I'll tell you what my most recent game that I hated that I did complete, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That made me want to drive to France or Canada or wherever Ubisoft's main drive to France headquarters is, and tell Mr. Guillemot, like, Slim, if you ever make another video game like that again, like it's gonna be your ass, because I'm coming to your house and I'm gonna beat you in front of your kids. Don't you ever let another game like that come out ever. Like, what happened to you guys? You used to you made Ghost Recon Wildlands the best shooter that's ever existed, and that was like a year ago. How did this nonsense? And like, if you go on Twitch right now, you can see some of the videos I recorded of me playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. When you go to see the Oracle at Delphi, sorry, spoiler alert, I'm cussing at the screen. Like, if she starts asking me questions and I got to sit through dialogue, I'm going to throw my controller out of the window and just give up video games forever. And that was the game where I was like, you know what? Maybe I just need to go back to playing Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis games, because I'm too, like, the whole movement of telling Hollywood stories that are 70 hours long in a video game is just lost on me. Like, I'm trying to watch Altered Carbon with my wife, and I'm like, this is boring. Like, the first season was kind of cool, and they get you all emotionally attached to these characters, and then none of them are in the second season, and the second season's boring and dark and weird. Can I watch? I think I'm just gonna watch Beat Street or Break Into Electric Boogaloo. I don't want to do this anymore. Let's see. I hate game. I hate the game. Love the zombies. Yeah. So here's the weird thing about Dying Light. I loved it at first. It's just when it starts to ramp up, it gets really annoying in ways that weren't fun anymore. Because I loved the game that the predecessor to that game, the other zombie game, where the trailer was of the guy falling out of the window at the hotel and his family was getting eaten. Man, what was the name of that game, guys? Come on, I'm old. I can't remember things. But that game was dope, and then Dying Light just wasn't as good. Some of us are in our 30s. I loved. Yes, some of us are in the 30s. At least the PS3 one. I hate that game too. Not in front of the kids. So boring. It's funny. Madeline says, LOL. Oh, dang it. I missed it. Mad was saying something. Kids got to learn for sure. Mike Tyson's Punch Out, Duck Hunt, Tetris, Metroid, Contra, Zelda, Gold cartridge. Yeah, matter of fact. Hey, hold that thought. I got something cool for y'all. Don't mind my red shorts. I'm still too sexy for y'all. You see that? See that plastic wrap, baby? I gotta. The cartridge doesn't sit in the window anymore. But yeah, talk about gold copy, son. If I hold it, maybe it'll stay there. There you go. How about that, son? You know what's funny? I don't even really like Zelda that much, but I do have that. Let me see. Now that my shelf is open, maybe I can answer the question. What was the game I played recently that I hated but still finished? Uh, nope, I didn't finish that game. Far Cry 3 was terrible. Uh, like the main character goes from hippie college student liberal to psychopathic killer by the end of the game. Like, yeah, sure, nice try. I really feel bad for video game writers because the designers have to make the game, and then the writers have to write the story kind of after the fact, and that's why I think all video game stories suck because it's not it's you're trying to write a movie that where everything and the you built the sets and the setting first, and then now you got to write the movie to all these scenes, and it just I just think it's a process that doesn't work. Somebody needs to figure out how to do that better. None of my games that I hate are really out front and center. I hated Red Dead Redemption 2, but I sure as hell didn't finish that nonsense. Um, yeah, I don't see anything. I didn't hate what was that game called? Horizon Zero Dawn. In fact, I loved the main character. She was freaking. She is the best main character since maybe Yuri from Shadow Hearts. You know, Yuri Lowell from Tales of Vesperia was pretty dope too. But Aloy was freaking amazing. Her supporting cast was annoying, but she was good. Madeline says, "Did you watch the 100?" No, what's the 100? Now I'm missing stuff. Did I play Earthbound? No. Well, I have played it, but I think I played it like I emulated it a couple years ago. I liked what I played, but I've never owned it. And my guy that owns the local video game store in my area, he has a full boxed copy of it in his office. The guy that owns the store, I'm like, dude, you gotta let me have that. He's like, I'm not letting you buy that. Get the hell out of here. I was like, I'll pay you properly. He's like, you're not getting it. So yeah, I did play Earthbound, but I never finished it. Oh, now TikTok's doing that thing it does. Let me not ignore the friends on YouTube also. Pocket Thoughts. Anish says, I completely agree with your view of Odyssey. Assassin's Creed used to have heart. It had philosophical speculation, historical conspiracy theories. Yeah, it just turned into so I'm a huge so if you understand how I play RPGs, right? My whole purpose in playing an RPG, it has nothing to do with story. It has nothing to do with that. It's I want to have a character that I can make really, really strong by the end of the game and kick ass. That is my main draw to role playing games. Developing a character, leveling up, and exploration and finding cool stuff. Right? So when Assassin's Creed tried to become a role playing game, it did my most hated thing that role playing games do, looking at you, BioWare, where everything just levels to where you are. I'm like, well, why am I leveling up if everything where I go is just the level I am? I never get to feel stronger. I just get some cool moves that you should like if I'm an assassin, I should have had these moves already. Why did I have to get to level 48 to learn how to do a jump kick? Like you only need 4 stars in Double Dragon to learn how to do a jump kick. Like this is my dream RPG. Check this out. This is people are gonna call me crazy. That's fine. I'll be crazy. That's just the way it's got to be. All right, we're gonna do this. So y'all, I almost knocked my drum over. This is my favorite RPG I've ever played. Right here, still in the plastic with the 48-hour trial for Xbox Live, still on the box. Right, I have no less than 4 copies of this game. One in the plastic, the special edition. I also have. I got this from my friend's store, by the way. Um, I have the PC version, new in the plastic. Never opened that. I have the digital copy, the Epic Edition, on Steam. That's how I actually recommend you play the game. Is on Steam. It's the best version of it. You can even mod it to play it with an Xbox controller if you don't want to play keyboard and mouse because you're old and suck at that like I do. And then I have 2 Xbox 360 copies of just the regular disc and the regular box. So yeah, that was my beef with Assassin's Creed, man. Like, don't give me an RPG and level everything up to my level. Why am I leveling then? It sucks. Mass Effect did that nonsense. I'm like, nope, not a fan. All right, let's catch up. Madeline says I have that one too. Were you talking about this one, Mads? I know I'm late on the comments. I'm trying to catch up to you guys. Nancy Pan says Street Fighter the original. I haven't downloaded the new one. Like Street Fighter the arcade game where you play as Ryu and fight Joe and all these other people. That game sucked. Street Fighter 2 was dope though. I actually remember I cut grass for God knows how long to make Street Fighter 2. I think it was 1991 or 92 when that game came out on Super Nintendo. It was $75 in 1992. Adjust that for inflation to see how much that game would cost today, and people are still complaining about they have to spend $120 to get complete games. Like, dude, you had to pay $100 to get Star Wars: Shadows of the Empire for the Nintendo 64. That game was $100 when it came out because there were only like 8 copies of it. Angel Eyes says Grand Theft Auto. So I, for years, have been saying that I hate all Rockstar games. However, I went back and started playing Grand Theft Auto 3, and I actually kind of dug it. I was like, why did they change it into a weird story with terrible controls? Why didn't they just make it fun? Red Dead Redemption 2 was good. I think you have to really like stories, and you have to like games that don't control well to play Rockstar games. Like my buddy at GameStop told me, he says playing Rockstar games, especially like Red Dead or the newer Grand Theft Autos, he said it's like pushing a refrigerator that has another refrigerator on top of it. That's what it's like to control in those games. Crazy Taxi was my jump. Really? Crazy Taxi. That's what's up. Oh, yes to the Zelda. Yeah, man. That's the joint. And I don't even really like Zelda that much, but I couldn't pass up getting a complete copy of it for my collection. And it's crazy because I think the price of this has gone up a lot since I got it complete in the box. I'm still trying to get Metroid, my favorite game of all time. Just although I think my favorite games of all time list is going to have to change because of Nier Automata. That's at least got to get into the top 3. If not, I hate to say it, like that game is so good it might knock Metroid off the number 1 seat. And then I also have to weigh, okay, if Metroid was your favorite game of all time. It's funny, like my favorite Nintendo game is the one that never sold well compared to Zelda and Mario and all this stuff. But if Metroid's your favorite game of all time, arguably Super Metroid's a better game, but I didn't like it as much. Axiom Verge is a better Metroid than all of the Metroid games. It's like, then do you have to make Axiom Verge your number 1 game? Because it's like, this is a better Metroid than Metroid, and it's better than Super Metroid, and it's better than Metroid Fusion and all these other ones. Like, I don't know, because and then Nier Automata. Nier Automata is everything I love. A role-playing game that doesn't have long-ass cutscenes. It has a leveling system, and nothing levels up with you. The combat is action based and fluid and really fun to do. You get guns and swords that you can use at the same time, and it also is a spaceship shooter, which is one of my favorite genres of game, and that genre's just kind of died off unless you want to play digital games. And I don't like digital games. I like to own physical copies. So when I go to Japan, one of my main things I have to get when me and Miko go to Japan is we're going to go to all the game stores and buy all the spaceship shooters that didn't come out in the States for all the different consoles. So it's craziness, man. Angel Eyes says, then had to blow those games to play. Bubble Bobble. Wow. I remember Snow Brothers too. Right, so much better. Crazy Taxi was crazy. Uh, Deadpool's my life says my mom loves Zelda. Kingdom Hearts from D. Moran Tunes. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts was after my time. Like I didn't really come back into gaming hard until the Xbox 360. That was when I came back, like because this game actually, to be fair, Elder Scrolls Oblivion is what got me back into gaming, and then this game came out and was the marketing was this game is the Elder Scrolls killer, which for me it was, but then I'm crazy, so what do I know? What do I think about Destiny? I don't like it. Lizzie, what's up? I beat Yoshi's World for N64 2 days, super easy, but I haven't played that game. Motivator says, have you played Until Dawn? I don't think so. Nancy Plant says, don't play Bloodborne, made by the. Oh, I played it on Twitch, and if Broken Soup is still here, he still teases me about that because that's his like favorite game. He's beat it 97 times and done the run where you don't wear any armor, you run around naked and fight things. I hate. I can't. I don't even want to get my blood pressure up thinking about that game. I still have an Atari. I want to get another Atari. My brother is 10 years old. My closest brother is 10 years older than me because I'm the runt of the family. But he had an Atari when I was a real little kid. Oblivion is amazing. Yes. For its time, it was. I don't think it holds up too well nowadays, but that game was, I had a lot of fun playing that game. I'm really surprised you don't like Call of Duty. I do like Call of Duty. I just only like the campaigns. I don't like playing online because I don't play enough to be good, and I don't like losing. I want to dominate. I just don't like Black Ops 4 because I don't like battle royale games. I think basically battle royale is a long ass game of hide and seek. I'm good. I don't like hide and seek in the real world. I don't want to play it as a video game. What are my thoughts on the Final Fantasy games? 1 was okay. 2 was super dope. 3 made me curse Square. 4, or what we call Final Fantasy 2, here in the States, you can see it right up here on my bookshelf, is my favorite Final Fantasy. 5, I never played. 6, nah, which was 3 here in the States. 7, I hated the first time I played it. Played it again, nah, was okay. Crisis Core was awesome because you get to play as Zack, the best Final Fantasy character ever. One of the only good Final Fantasy characters, period. Because I think most of the Final Fantasy characters after Final Fantasy 4 just are annoying. Um, where am I at? 8 was weird, but I didn't hate it as much as everybody else did. 9 bored me to sleep, so I never finished it. 10 made me want to club baby seals and was annoying, but I did. Maybe that's the most hated game that I once finished. 11 never played because I don't play online games like that. 12, my second favorite Final Fantasy, hands down. The Gambit system is what every turn-based role-playing game should be from here to the end of time, like allowing you to program tactics into your players so that you don't have to control all of them on the battlefield. Whoever came up with that, I hope got a promotion or gets his own gaming studio, and I'll buy every game he or she makes. 13 was weird, but I didn't hate 13. 13 is another one that a lot of people hated, and I was like, it's all right, it's fine. 13.2 played, never finished. 13.3 have not played yet. I don't think I own that one either. Lightning Returns. 14 didn't play because I don't do online. And 15 is the second worst Final Fantasy ever created behind Final Fantasy 3. And that is my thoughts on Final Fantasy games. I'm not a big fan of Final Fantasy is the short answer to the question. Because they do a lot of stuff I don't like about role-playing games. Sonic on Sega Game Gear was totally awesome. Never liked the Sonic games, man, but that's probably because my mom wouldn't buy me a Sega Genesis when I was a kid. Life Coach Josh says, I agree with you. Madeline says, okay, you and I need to have a sit down about Final Fantasy. Uh-oh, am I about to get yelled at, yo? Am I about to get cussed out by Mama Bear? I apologize for whatever I said. I don't want to. Madeline strikes me as the person that I would not want to piss off. Like that, I just imagine she has dealt out several ass whoopings in her life. She just no. Whatever I did, I repent. I don't want to catch a Madeline ass whooping for sure. Have I ever played modded Minecraft? Yes, I have. Life Coach Josh says, what do you think of the Fallout games? All right, Fallout 1 and 2 I've only dabbled in. They were okay. Fallout 3 was pretty dang cool, but it's Bethesda, so it's broken and weird, and they suck now. Fallout New Vegas is easily the illest Fallout that's ever been created, almost. I'll tell you what the actual best Fallout is. Fallout 4 is the worst Fallout. You can watch my review on YouTube. Just look up Bryant Chambers Fallout 4 review. It'll come up on my Legacy channel, and you can watch me just tear that game a new asshole because I thought it was a pile of shite. And the best Fallout that was ever made is called The Outer Worlds. It's everything Fallout should have been and never could become. Da-da-da. What do you think of the fall? Okay, I read that. D. Moran says Cloud is the best. Cloud is a bitch. Can I say that on the internet? I hated his character. Oh, whiny ass, emo. Like, it's like when grunge was cool and he's all, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then he's all of a sudden the hero. Final Fantasy VII had the worst characters, man. Ugh. Maybe Tifa. Actually, I did like Yuffie. She was kind of annoying, but she's you guys know my joke about pretty Asian ladies. It's like my thing. So, for years my wife and I thought she was Asian, which was like, yes, I married a part Asian lady. And then we found out she wasn't Asian. But she still looks Asian, so that's cool. But the point is, ugh, I hated Cloud. And if you've played, please play Crisis Core. Please get to play as Zack. Because one, you're going to play a Final Fantasy game that's not annoying. Two, it's not incredibly long. Three, it's Zack. And the ending with Zack is untouchable, man. Easily the best ending to a Final Fantasy game. I know all the Final Fantasy zealots will tell me the best ending was either 6 or 9. Okay. I don't remember much about 6 because it took me like 3 years to beat it because I was bored. It had too many characters. And 6 was the one that introduced a lot of party switching, although 4 had it too. And I didn't like that. I spent 40 hours just leveling these people. And here's your other team. Like, well, this team sucks. I don't use these people. Why didn't you tell me 20 hours ago that we were going to have to do this? Right? So I hated Cloud. Oh, I hated, like, and freaking, what's his name? Zephyroth. Easily the worst antagonist in a game ever. He's just a bitch of a man. Like, he's just angry and got mommy issues. And so he wants to kill everyone. Like, shoot this dude in the mouth so we can all go home. I'm sorry. I might be a little bit too emotional. So I beat Final Fantasy VII after I got back from combat. So I probably still have some PTSD issues tied to Final Fantasy VII. I was angry a lot. And I don't want to do this anymore. But now you're gonna get my ass beat by Madeline. Thanks a lot, Josh. Oh no, that was D. Moran. Squall is the best. No, Squall's even worse than Cloud. But most of the Final Fantasy characters suck to me. I love Cecil from Final Fantasy IV. I liked Kain, even though he was kind of a bitch. Rosa was ill. Rosa was not a game. She would tell Cecil, get off your bitchin' ass and get up here and help us, G. If you're going to be my man, you better step your game up. I'm like, yeah, tell him, Rosa. Don't let him be a punk. You know? But what do I know? I don't know anything. Metal Slug from the night. Yeah, Metal Slug was hard. I remember sucking at that game. I never got into the Resident Evil games because I couldn't do the tank controls, and now Madeline's laughing, probably agreeing with the fact that she's whooped a couple people's ass. And see, now y'all gonna get my ass beat by Madeline. Can we not? I don't want to ass whooping. Nope. And it's not even an ego thing. Like, I just don't want to get my ass beat. Madeline and I are feeling the same. I gotta hear Madeline's take. Like, what I need to know what her Final Fantasy favorite is, because I want to know why. At least if I'm gonna get my ass beat, I want to know why. Have you played Crazy Craft? I have not. I've never heard of Crazy Craft. Madeline says same with. Is it Titus or Titus? I've heard both. I've always said Titus. Same with Titus was not my favorite. Have a good night, Deadpool. Hey, hopefully, Deadpool, I hope I'm going to come to your profile. I hope you're starting to implement the stuff you and I talked about helping you get crazy, crazy new followers, man. I think it's definitely going to help you out, especially with all the art. The cool art that you're doing needs to get more eyeballs on it. Have a great evening. Tekken for PlayStation was basically summer 1998. I sucked at Tekken, but I remember playing it a lot with friends. Zack is overrated, bro. Chill. Okay, I'll give you the fact that Zack is overrated. I will actually acquiesce to that. But here will be my response to Zack being overrated. If he's overrated, then the rest of Final Fantasy characters suck that much more. Straight up. Like, if Zack's overrated, then you just dropped the market value of every other character in Final Fantasy. Now, granted, I only got like 10 hours into Final Fantasy 9, and everybody tells me that's the most amazing thing on the planet. But you got to remember, go back to my statement earlier, Madeline, don't beat me up. I'm playing the games because I want to level up and get strong, and I want to explore and find cool stuff. I don't care about the story or the love interest or any of that crap. And I think that's what made a lot of people love 9 is it's very whimsical and it's very kind of like anime. I just the gameplay was so boring, and the story may be amazing. I don't know because I didn't finish it, so I'm not going to judge 9 from the perspective of the characters because I really like Zindane. I think that's his name. I didn't get to know the characters well enough. I just know the plot was very boring and the combat was slow. Uh, so 9 will give that kind of a pass, and I won't judge them against Zach. But like Cloud, he bitched the entire game, and then all of a sudden he decides to be the hero at the last minute, and everyone's like, "Yay, Cloud!" And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man. Nancy Pan says, "I'm a bad gamer. I've never played any of the Final Fantasy games." Well, you're not a bad gamer. You're like people from Japan. They actually prefer Dragon Quest. Like Final Fantasy blew up in the States. That's not Japan's jam. Dragon Quest is actually what Japanese folks likes. Hamilton Champagne says, "How many Assassin's Creed games have you played?" I've played 2. I've played uh, Odyssey. I've played was it Black Flag, the one you play as a pirate? I played like 10 minutes of that one. Squally says, "Where are you reading the comments from?" TikTok, man. Do I like the Devil May Cry or Ninja Gaiden? I like original Ninja Gaiden. I like the arcade game and the NES game. I have actually beaten Ninja Gaiden. I've played it as an adult, and I have no idea how I was able to beat that game as a kid because it's impossible. But, as a kid, I had a lot more free time, apparently. Um, Devil May Cry, I've only played the first one. I did finish it, though. And I don't remember hating it. It was all right. Guffy Lynn says, "Thanks, man. 3 is my favorite." So, American Final Fantasy 3 or Japanese Final Fantasy? Because Japanese Final Fantasy 3 made me want to club baby seals. Nancy Pants, oh, Madeline's laughing again. I hope that doesn't mean I'm in trouble. Nancy Pants says, "Love you and your content, but I'm going to continue playing Witcher 3. Enjoy Witcher 3. If you've never beaten it before, the side quest story, way better than the main story, right? And Yennefer is the best love interest if you do everything in the game. Enjoy yourself. All right, let's go ahead and get this ass whooping that I'm sure I just signed up for. She said Titus. So it is Titus? Uh-oh. Now D Moran, you don't need to instigate the woman that's going to be kicking my ass. Like, can I get an ass beaten without your help, bruh? Like, come on, man. Squally says, "Kingdom Hearts I love, but the story... Kingdom Hearts was kind of boring to me. For whatever reason, I didn't... But I don't like Disney. So that might have been... I think Kingdom Hearts really won with the folks that love Disney stuff, and I don't. So I think that's why it never connected with me. I never heard you talk about music. Are you a music guy? Yeah, I used to. I guess you can't say I used to be a musician because I don't think you ever stopped being one. Here you go. How's that for? How's that for being a musician? Right. Yeah, I used to be pretty big into music. Nowadays, the only time I listen to music is when I'm working out, so I don't get much time to consume it. And the songs I hear on TikTok that I'm too old to know what the hell these kids are singing. It's Titus, like tedious. Uncle Ime says, "I hope you know I appreciate you. Thank you for your content." Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Going to walk the little guy. Go on, bud. Peace out, K-Dubs. D. Moran says, "Zach barely went through any character development, bro." I don't care. Like, I liked him as a person. Like, character development is fine if you're developing a person who is likable. Cloud, like, I would not hang out with Cloud in real. Like, if Final Fantasy VII was a real story, I would have joined Sephiroth's team. Like, I can't deal with the spiky hair bitchy guy. Let's kill his ass, and then secretly I'm gonna stab your ass when you ain't looking because I don't like you either. Like I will accept everything you're saying. I think every Final Fantasy character is overrated. And like I said, I'm giving Final Fantasy 9 a pass because I don't know anything about those people. I stopped playing on the first disc. Let's see. Thoughts on Lightning from Final Fantasy 13. Weirdly, I liked her. She was cool, man. She was a little bit more offstandish than I think she needed to be because I feel like the designers, and maybe this is a translation issue because they think all Americans are dumb. They made her a little bit more hardcore than I think she needed to be, and probably because you're playing as a female, they needed to make her palatable to a male audience. I thought she was dope though. Like I think Final Fantasy 13 got a lot of of appropriate hate, but it got too much. I thought Lightning was cool, man. I didn't have any issues with her other than I think she was a little bit overdone, but I think it was hard. Like, you're going to be playing this game as a female protagonist, and a lot of men are probably going to have a problem with that. But I thought she was all right. But shit, I came here for the vet videos. No worries, man. We're just hanging out. Madeline says, yes, Final Fantasy 9 plot sucked. All right, so wait a minute. If Madeline's agreeing with me, why is she about to kick my ass? Which one did I hate on that she liked? Aerith. Aerith sounds like we have a lisp when we talk. Like even her name is weird. Aerith. I thought Aerith went out like a punk. Uh, and that scene didn't have the emotional. Like, you guys got to remember, by the time I played Final Fantasy VII, because I didn't play it in my younger days. I think I tried it and was bored and I walked away. I didn't play Final Fantasy VII like to play it until I was about, I don't know, I was like 25 years old. So I'm a grown man at this point playing Final Fantasy. If I had played it as a kid, I imagine a lot of this stuff would have had more of an emotional impact on me. Which is probably why Final Fantasy II is my favorite, because I played it as a little kid. Final Fantasy IX has slow gameplay. I thought the setting. Yeah, that's what I didn't like about it. D. Moran says Final Fantasy. Okay. I wasn't a fan of the story either. Okay, so why am I getting. Life Coach Josh says, off topic, man. I think your videos are awesome. Thank you. D. Moran says, Zindane is the most well rounded character. So, yeah, I'll take your word for it, D. Moran. And so this is where my Zach thing comes from. I didn't play enough as Zindane to fall in love with him or whatever. And like, guys, take me with a grain of salt. When I say Zach is dope, understand that the bar I set for Final Fantasy is the whole series is mediocre. So it's like when I think somebody in the Final Fantasy world is awesome, it's because they were less mediocre than the rest of everybody else, right? So, um, but I never played enough of 9 to understand Zindane. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Oh man, Matt said he's an awesome musician. Thank you. My album sales disagree with you. Hamilton Champagne says, do you believe in supernatural beings? Well, that depends on how you define that. Squally says, Jecht is dope. I did like the ending of Final Fantasy X now that you bring up Jecht. Uh, like the ending of Final Fantasy X with Tidus, that scene was dope. I was hype at the end of Final Fantasy X. I hated the hell I had to go through to get to it. But I did like the ending. Life Coach Josh says, I was a Dragon Warrior fan. Yeah, the plot of 10, I'd agree with that. 10, the only thing I didn't like about 10 was the linearity. It lost the overworld and stuff like that, which I liked because I liked the exploring with the airships and stuff. Um, and 10 went overboard with like the status ailments and stuff like that. But 10 was the first one where you could sub out fighters in the middle of the fight. I thought that was dope. Um, but like 10 was one of the first ones I remember playing where there were certain bosses where you had to lose a couple of times to figure out the pattern. And that would always bother me because I didn't like losing and having to start back over from wherever I saved the game. Um, Yeah, but the only thing I want, if I hated anything about 10, it was the Temple of Trials. I didn't like the puzzle stuff. And the characters just fell kind of flat for me. Like Titus was special. Yuna was like a person that had a lobotomy, just no emotion, which I guess if she knew what she had to do in the game, she would be somewhat kind of depressed. But the plot in 10 was cool from what I remember of it. The ending in 10 was freaking fantastic. The final dungeon in 10 made me want to fight people, but that's Final Fantasy. The final dungeons in Final Fantasy are always over the top. But yeah, 10 I do remember enjoying the plot. I just don't remember loving any of the characters. I'm trying to remember who all the characters you had. I liked Auron. Auron was cool. Yuna I didn't like very much. Titus was just kind of, hey, what's up? I didn't hate him. Waka was like the comic relief. Kamari didn't really have a personality, and then Lulu was like just the let's attract the teenage boys with the well endowed woman type thing. But she had a lot of good dialogue though. Like her as a mentor to Yuna was pretty cool. Let's see. Dragon Warrior is where it's at. Yeah. I think Dragon Warrior was the first RPG I ever played on a console, if I remember correctly. Yes, 10 is dope. That's because you need. Yeah, I admit it. I am not good at turn-based figuring out the pattern. Uh, that's why I like the action games better. I will concede that point. I am not good at the. That's why I was great at Final Fantasy 12 because I could program the players, the party members to figure out what the thing was they were supposed to do. And so, like, if this character's weak against fire, use fire. If this character's weak against ice, so I always had someone on my team that would figure out the pattern for me. Like, I never liked the trial and error. I think part of that too is just my training. Like, I would never go into a fight not knowing how to beat my enemy, and then figure it out on the fly. That's the part of the turn-based role-playing games that I've always kind of sucked at. Is like the puzzle solving in the battles piece. And I never liked having to control all the players. I always thought it was weird that we're this band of brothers and sisters that are going to save the world, but I got to tell each one of you what to do. Like, just we're fighting, get in there. That's why I love 12 so much, because you set up the algorithm for each of your characters, and then they just carry stuff out, and then you have to make adjustments on the fly, like if something's not working. But it's not like I'm micromanaging an entire, like, I couldn't imagine being on a real battlefield where I had to tell someone, okay, now you shoot the rocket at that guy. Okay, you over here, you're gonna not shoot yet, but you hold, and then you need to have the med kits ready. Like, it's when you've actually led, I guess, a battlefield scenario, and you depend on other human beings to know their job and not have to be told. I think that kind of threw me off as an adult when I went back to playing RPGs. Because all my friends used to tease me. They're like, dude, the army ruined you. You can't play video games anymore. I was like, you're probably right. You probably right. Arn was the man. Kamari was the best. Yeah. The motivator. Lulu. Oh, dang it. Now it's jumping all over the place. Lulu is super underrated. I'll buy that. Titus, Arn, Yuna, Lulu, Kamari, Riki. Riku was the other one. You know what I did like, though? I forgot to mention this. I liked Final Fantasy X too. A lot. I forgot to mention that one. I enjoyed Final Fantasy X too quite a bit. Believe it or not. Did. Don't remember anything about it. I just remember I had a good time playing it. Riku was the other character I forgot about. I thought she was kind of interesting too. You hype for Cyberpunk? Kind of. Kind of. Witcher 3 taught me to be really cautiously optimistic about Cyberpunk, because when I reviewed Witcher 3, I think Witcher 3 was the last review I did when I was doing game reviews with my media company back in the day. If it wasn't the last game, it was one of the last games I reviewed. And I absolutely loved the exploration. I liked Geralt a lot. I loved the side stories. They were more interesting than the main story. So like I said, my favorite thing with role playing games is leveling a character to make him or her supremely powerful by the end of the game, and exploration and discovery. And what feeds good exploration is like there's the scene in The Witcher 3 where you go underwater in this place, but if you keep swimming, you actually come up in an abandoned house and there's all this great gear that you can put on. Right? That's what I love about the I love the adventure side of the role playing game way more than the story stuff. And I think that's why there's a big disconnect between me and a lot of other role playing game fans, cuz a lot of the people who play role playing games, especially the older guys, they grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons where it's very story driven, or they grew up reading fantasy novels. I never did that. So it's like I'm playing the game because it's a power fantasy. I grew up very insecure. I grew up weak and small and very cowardly. And these video games would let me escape into these characters that I always dreamed I could be. Right? Like I could become this person who's very, very strong, where in my real life I felt very, very weak and was easily bullied, got beat up and stuff. Um, and had a ton of insecurity, right? So these games made me feel powerful the way I knew somewhere deep down in my soul I had that, right? And then the exploration, the going and finding things that help you become that character. So The Witcher 3 did the exploration part great, but the fatal flaw, the reason why The Witcher 3 right now is not my favorite RPG, and this is because they murdered the leveling system. All of the leveling is tied to you completing the story, and I hate that. It's so what they do is they take away the joy of combat from the game. Like I went supremely underleveled and I fought a Cyclops in Witcher 3. Now, in any other standard role playing game, winning that fight 20 levels under means I'm going to gain like 10 levels. And I'm going to use that to make my character stronger. Witcher 3 is like, here's 20 XP. You're welcome. Go jump off it. And it's like, so I just have to basically, if I never fight, like it basically incentivizes the player to not fight, just go complete story quests. And I don't like that. So I'm concerned that that same philosophy is going to play into Cyberpunk, where it's I want to level and explore, not have to go complete story missions to get my character to be stronger, which means my character progression is totally tied to the story, which means you're really controlling me and not giving me the freedom to get as strong as I want to. I actually bought Witcher 3 on my PC just so I could mod that out. I do the same thing with Fallout games. I mod them because I don't want things to level scale with me. I think that's ridiculous. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm gonna get Cyberpunk. You know, I still liked The Witcher a lot. It just like it had the potential to be my favorite role playing game of all time, and it's like it fumbled on the goal line. It's like, come on, dudes. But if they made it the way I like, I think that, and I get the developers, man, because you know I talked to these guys before the game launched because I was working to get review copies, and you know I was talking to their PR team, and I get why they did it the way they did it, because if they had done it the way I like, they would have pissed off a lot of people. Like it's better to just piss me off. I'm always the vote. I'm always the minority. So you're much better off disappointing me than pissing off your entire fan base just to make a game that I like. And that's why most people hate Two Worlds. It's because they made it the way I like. And people think that game is trash. Have I ever played Forza Horizon? I've played Forza, but not Horizon. They did a worldwide poll for best Final Fantasy characters. Wow, with over 450. So Madeline says you're more of an action than puzzle strategy. It depends. Like I like, for example, I love using strategy in Ghost Recon Wildlands, which has RPG elements. I love the idea of putting a drone in the air, figuring out where all of the enemies are, and then putting my guys in position. I mean, because I can play Ghost Recon Wildlands the way I would have played with one of my teams. It's fake, like it's not like real combat. You're not going to attack an entire complex with four guys, but it's still the concepts are the same. Where I'm going to get eyes on the battlefield first, and we're going to tactically. Okay, let's take out the snipers first. Okay, snipers out. Bet. Now let's figure out the patrol patterns of everybody, and then we can just slowly and methodically go through. And then if we have to, we can CQC or close quarters combat our way through. So I love strategy when it's like that. but most RPGs aren't made to do that. So where I don't like strategy is where it's trial and error, like a Bloodborne. And I'd argue that I'd say that Bloodborne is puzzle and strategy together, where it's you're learning how to play the game by getting beat up, and it's like, well, no one. It would be like me trying to go bench, like when I was still, lifting a lot heavier weight before I had a lot of injuries. I remember the first time I benched over 400 pounds. Like I wouldn't just go in the gym and try to bench 400 pounds and fail at it a bunch of times until I learned how to do it. I would work my way. I would learn and get people to teach me how to do it. So it's like I can do. I don't like puzzles in role playing games or adventure games. That part you're 100% right. Like leave. I'll play a puzzle game like Portal because it's just the puzzles and have fun with that. But when puzzles start showing up in dungeons, that's why I really don't like Zelda. But like Final Fantasy type strategy is very reactive versus preparing for an enemy I know how to fight. Like a Ghost Recon Wildlands, I know how to fight in this scenario because I've done this in real life. Well, I haven't done anything as fantastic as what happens in the game, but you know what I mean. So it's kind of a mix of both worlds. D Moran says, and Cloud got number one with Yuna and Eris and Zach somewhere down there. That's fine. I mean, a lot of people love Cloud. But, that was a lot of people's childhoods, right? Like, if I didn't grow up with Metroid, it wouldn't be my favorite game. You know what I mean? Like, if I grew up during the Atari generation or, if Metroid, I'd be like, ugh, this game is whack. Ashura's Wrath, I've never played. Do I mod? I did. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. Pocket Thought says, I have so many tabs open whenever you go live. So many things I need to check out. Respect for the knowledge you've acquired. Bless you, Pocket Thoughts. Thank you. Yeah, Pocket Thoughts is a cool name. Let's see. D. Moran says, no shade, though. So are you saying Zach was at the bottom of the list? That's weird because the older Final Fantasy fans I know love. Like, I got put on to Zach by Final Fantasy fans. I had never heard of him before. Because remember, I didn't finish Final Fantasy VII until I was full blown. I was married with a puppy by the time I played Final Fantasy VII. A lot of the people who were schooling me and getting me to play these games as an older guy loved Zach. And I was like, who the hell is Zach? Uh, what made me like Zach, I'll tell you, is really simple. Is he wasn't an emo, overly depressed, bitchy person. He was upbeat, and then what he does at the end, just really, his actions said a lot more. Because one of your arguments, which I don't disagree with, is that he didn't have a lot of character progression. Which great, but what I liked about him was how he displayed who he was, especially at the end of the game, where he shows you the type of person that he is. And that made me, it's like one of the reasons why The Gladiator is my favorite movie is because I love Maximus. Maximus is, I mean, and here's the funny thing, Maximus is a made up character. All the people in that movie are real people, and Maximus is the only one that never existed because there's nobody ever been that good of a person. But Maximus embodies what all of us wish we were as leaders, right? One of my favorite scenes in Gladiator, when he links back up with his guys, and he asks the big dude. He goes up to the guy. He's like, "I'm going to meet with the soldiers that he used to lead before he got excommunicated or murdered." And his first question when he meets up with one of the leaders, his first question, and this is totally textbook good officer shit. He goes, "How are the men?" And it's like that scene actually chokes me up because you can see this guy loved his soldiers, and as a person who loved the men that I work with, and you guys have seen some of the guys I was in combat with come on TikTok here. I love those guys, man. And I mean like real love, not Hollywood silliness. Like if one of those guys was in trouble, I'd be in my car right now. You know what I mean? It's what made me like Zach wasn't the journey he went on, because everyone's obsessed with the journey. I care more about the moral of the story, which is why I don't like a lot of stories, because I'm way more interested in the philosophy, the ethics, and the moral than I am the journey. And when Zach does what Zach does, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. That's all I needed. It was like, yeah, I'm with this guy. He's way better than bitchy Cloud, who all of a sudden remembers that he's supposed to be the superhero and decides that I'm not going to be sad anymore. Let's go, guys. Like, oh, God. But if I can imagine 12-year-old me playing that probably would have loved Cloud. Like grown ass man just fought a war and have friends that are dead in real combat. Like this dude would have got his ass whooped on the battlefield. Like if I was Barrett, I would have just shot his ass from the beginning. Like get his ass out of here. He ain't helping nobody. You know what I mean? So I think that's where some of my prejudice comes from. Is just my experiences. Let's see. Madeline says, "Oh, for sure." Dun, dun. So now I know how to get Madeline to come on the show. I got to stream late. Madeline be burning the midnight oil, man. Let's see. Squally says, I love combo heavy games like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta. Dude, you gotta play Nier Automata. It's not combo heavy, but the combat in Nier Automata is from Jesus. I swear, when I started playing Nier Automata, I bought it kind of on a whim. Like, let's just try this out. It looks silly. I'm like, why doesn't this have like Nier Automata 15 instead of Final Fantasy 15's broke ass? Like Nier Automata should have 15 games. Like, oh, it's wonderful. Platinum Games is just dope. Like I vowed to buy all of Platinum Games for my collection. D Moran says, I'm only kidding, Brian. I really did like Zach. I know, man. It's all in good fun, brother. To be honest with you, I don't remember anything about the story except the ending. So Zach could have sucked. Well, I remember. You liked X2, Man of Culture. I did like X2, man. It was about Yuna, Pain, and Riku. Madeline says, no, that's D. Moran says, that game was the best battle system ever. The Taco Main says, what's up, man? I've been loving your podcast and even helped apply some of it to my friend that is overcoming some addictions. Excellent, man. I hope it's helpful for him. Squally says, I did play it. The combat was sick. I love the customization. Dude, when you get deep into the game and you get some of the plugins for the AI, oh, like when you can carry something that's really heavy but cut it in half and you can start, oh, freaking Nier Automata is perfect. I don't know why that game doesn't have 47 sequels. The way you explain building your character makes a whole lot of sense, actually. Zach was number 9. Okay, that's cool. I can buy that. Because I don't like, for example, I don't technically think Zach was better than Cecil. Like Cecil was a beast, man. Or I used to call him Cecil when I was a kid, but I assume it's Cecil. Um, like the progression he goes through is heavy because he's a freaking bloodthirsty warrior who has to turn into this kind of God-fearing man, and he has to be willing to sacrifice his friends to win. So yeah, I respect your opinion, honestly. Oh yeah, I know it's all in good fun, man. Uh-oh. Madeline says, that's awesome. Love your content, bro. You're the best. No, you're the best, yo. Not me. It's you. What was the most valuable lesson learned while you were in the Army? I don't think I can narrow it down to one, but my catchphrase and everything that I produce online is we are stronger than I. Uh, no man is an island is one of the things I learned very well in the Army. And when you have people in your camp that you can trust, people that are willing to put their life on the line to help you, life gets a lot easier. You know what I mean? When you put the we before the me, in the times where it's appropriate. Obviously, there's times in life where you have to put me first. You can't always be taking care of everybody else. But when you put the benefit of the we in front of just the individual, because I'll tell you this, like going to war. Let me put it to you like this: when I found out that we were going to war, ethically, I didn't agree with it. It's like, hell no, this doesn't even make sense. And it's funny because when we were in combat, the stuff they were telling you guys back home is not what I was being told on the battlefield. We weren't worried about all that news, CNN BS they were broadcasting. It's like, we're not worried about this dude setting off a nuke. We were told we're going to get him because he's a bad guy. And I was like, that's interesting. We got the YouTube video of Rumsfeld kissing him on the cheek from 10 years ago, but okay, whatever. So, but, when you think about we are stronger than I, it's my men are about to be thrust into, the closest experience to hell that a human can go through, which is warfare. And despite my personal convictions that this war shouldn't be happening, I was like, if my guys have to be in hell, well then, the guy that says he's their leader should probably be in hell too. And so I put my personal convictions on the shelf and said, I'm gonna make it my business to protect these men. Like we're gonna get the mission done. Oh, the mission is always first, but I'm gonna make sure because I had NCOs ask me like, "Yo, sir, what the hell are we doing in this country, bruh? Like, what are we doing here? Like in the middle of Baghdad?" I got asked that question, and I told him, I said, "Sergeant, I won't say his name. I don't want to put anybody out there, but I was like, listen, man, I'm here for the team. I said I can't tell you why we're here because the answer is I don't know. Uh, running a country of 300 and some odd million people is hard and it's complicated, and there's forces at work that you and I may never fully understand." I said, but here's what I do know: nobody gets to tell us why we're here. Like the history books will talk about how we were all heroes because we'll write them and all that shit. And I said, but no one gets to tell us why we're here. Not the news, not, activists. We get to decide why we're here. And I said, I'm here to make sure people like you get home to your wife and kids. Point blank, period. That is my primary focus, is making sure that I do not have to explain to a wife or a mother or a brother or a dad why somebody that I love with all of my soul is no longer on this planet, especially if that person was under my leadership, because that shit would sting. And I've got brothers, guys I was in combat with, that went again without me and lost people, and that shit, it kills you from the inside out. Because I remember I called him just to check in on him. I assumed he was still in the military. I was like, "Where you at, man? It's been too long. How you been? How's the family?" And it was like, "I'm not in anymore, man." I was like, "What happened?" He's like, "I lost a guy on the fourth rotation." It's like, fuck. He lost two guys, and it was just like, you don't ever get over that. And so um, the biggest lesson is the we is always greater than the me. I got in a fight with my boss, a respectful fight. It wasn't like we were fist fighting or I was yelling at him or being disrespectful, but he wanted to change my job a couple weeks before the war. And I just told him, I said, "Boss, you can't take Peyton Manning and turn him into a kicker." And people take that analogy to mean like I was doing a lesser job. That's, in fact, the job he was trying to move me into was actually harder in a lot of ways than the job I was doing. They were both hard for different reasons. But he wanted to switch me and my cousin's jobs. And his whole purpose was, he's like, your progression as an officer, you have to have this job under your belt if you think that you're going to make it as a career. And I said, "Sir, here's the bottom line. After this war is over, I'm turning my shit in and I'm out of here because I don't want to be a part of this shit anymore." I said, "I'm here to get the mission done and protect my guys. So I really don't give a shit about my career at this point. I'm done." I said, "Plus, I'm fucking injured. So I'm out. You don't need to worry about. I get that you're my mentor, you're my boss, you're supposed to look out for me because you're the commander, you're the boss, you're the colonel." I said, "But sir, I don't give a shit. I give a shit about these men. And if you pull me out of the game several nights before the war, you're pulling out a quarterback who's been playing with this team for I've been playing with this team longer than most of my NCOs have. I've been with these men and doing this mission over and over and over again longer than most of the people I'm supposed to be looking up to in my NCOs." I said, "You can't pull the quarterback the night before the Super Bowl." And he kind of walked away, and it was just a one-on-one, like we weren't arguing in front of soldiers or anything. And it turns out he left me in my job. He switched us during the war after everything calmed down. That was his happy medium was, "I'll just change your job." "I'll just change your job." And I got promoted in the middle of the war. So it was like, I got to move you anyway because you're a rank higher than the freaking job you're doing right now. And that's the greatest lesson, was all I cared about was the men that to this day I love those guys with everything that I got, because the truth is they made my career. One of my guys is a sergeant major, and actually a couple of my guys are first sergeants and sergeant majors now. And it's just like I'm watching their career from afar, like, hell yeah, they're still good people doing good shit. And these are guys I was doing Bible studies with in the middle of getting bullets shot at our ass. And it's just, you just learn, man, that you have to have a tribe. You can't. And I deal with so many vets back home these days that they're alone. And it's like, why are you alone? And I know why, because I was. I went into some really dark ass, like when I went through my psych evaluation, I told a lot of you guys this before. When I was doing my disability evaluation, the doctor has to ask you when they're doing your psych eval, do you have suicidal thoughts? And I had to say, Doc, I don't know. And she's like, explain that. I said, well, I have no plans to kill myself. I said, but I've thought about my family would be better off if I wasn't alive anymore, basically because they're going to get a lot of fucking money. And I won't be miserable anymore trying to chase something that I feel like I'm not anymore. So I know what that's like. And the greatest lesson, this is a very long answer to a simple question. The greatest lesson is, man, you got to have a tribe of people that have your back. Period. All right, how many comments did I miss while I was running my silly ass mouth? Nick says I was watching when you almost caught them hands. But she still never told me which one was her favorite Final Fantasy. Which one did I shit on that she was like, I'm going to slap this dude? If you guys are even still here after that rant I just went on. Kev says, what was okay, that's the question I just answered. D Moran says, you know who you'd like? The boss from Metal Gear Solid 3. Yes, I loved the boss and I love Naked Snake. I actually, here's a fun fact that you guys may not know. I was slated to play Big Boss in the Metal Gear remake. I was slated to be the voice actor for it. But Konami shut the project down. And they got David Hayter to reprise his role as Solid Snake. How about that shit? Like, yeah, so the way it happened was, I'll tell you guys the story real quick. I just want to make sure I'm not missing. She played 10. Okay, so we're in agreement. I love 10-2, man. That's good shit. My apologies for the selfish perspective. Damn, man, you have some balls. I have a hard time hearing these stories because I feel like such a what? What do you feel like, man? Paris Dream says, thanks for sharing your story. I hear you, bro. Never forget. And it really hurts. It always hurts, man. But remember, the cuts leave scars. The scars are tougher than the skin before the scar. You just got to look at things the right way, man. And played a bunch of them while I was. She played 10-2 a bunch and played a bunch of them while I was early Navy. Got it, man. That's cool shit. Yeah. So, hey, wrong peach is here. I forgot what was the question I was trying to answer. um, I totally forgot. I just totally lost my train of thought because somebody asked me a question I was trying to answer. Oh yeah, Metal Gear. So yeah, I got wind, like some of the people that follow me on YouTube when I was doing the game reviews with my media company, they knew Metal Gear is my second favorite game of all time. And Metal Gear, not Metal Gear Solid, none of that solid shit. The original Metal Gear is my second favorite video game of all time. A bunch of people knew that, and they're like, yo, B, like on these dark web websites, they were like, B, have you heard there is a original Metal Gear remake going on right now? I'm like, no, where are you hearing this? And they took me to the website where the the lead designer was talking about the project, and I thought it was just a passion project. So I took it. You can actually find this video. It's still on my YouTube channel. It's a picture of me looking crazy, holding my copy of the original Metal Gear, saying Metal Gear remake question question question. Like hell yeah! I guess like, have you guys heard there's a Metal Gear remake and it's coming? And here's the website. The lead designer finds me and sends me a direct message like, my man, I love you like a brother. You have got to take this video off of YouTube. And I'm like, why? What's the deal? Because if Konami finds out that we're doing, like, Konami wants us doing this quietly. We don't have permission yet. We're still working with them. And if they see your video or if it goes viral, which it never would have, because me, like, who's watching my gaming videos? I'm an old ass man. But he's like, please, please take this video down before you get this whole project shut down. I'm like, no, I don't want that. So I immediately took it down. He writes me back. He's like, thanks. He was like, hey, are you interested in like voice acting? And I don't have no idea why he asked me that. I was like, hell yeah. He's like, which characters would you like to play? Because it's going to be fully voiced. I was like, well, I'd like to audition for Snake, but most importantly, I like to audition for Big Boss because even though I think Metal Gear Solid 3 is a horrible game, like control wise, the story is freaking amazing. I was like, Big Boss, I have an emotional connection to him because I feel a lot like he does, especially what he has to do at the end of the game. I was like, man, these guys. I was like, I'd love to play Big Boss. He's like, bet. He sends over the scripts. He's like, he's like, read the scripts as we have them written. Send me the voice tracks. He's like, send them directly to me. You don't need to go through our team. Just send them to me, and we'll, as long as you're, serviceable, we'll get you in. You could be Big Boss. I think I also applied to be Revolver Ocelot. It was Solid Snake, uh, Naked Snake or Big Boss and Ocelot, I think, are the three characters that I auditioned for. I didn't know when I auditioned that they had already hired David Hayter to play Solid Snake, which is freaking awesome. Uh, and so, like, I'm like, dude, I'm about to be Naked Snake, but I can't tell anybody. My first, well, it would have been my second voice acting gig. I'm about to be my favorite character from a video game series. Like, this is dope. Like, who does that? Like, who gets to be their favorite character on like their first job? Like, what? Because I played a Secret Service agent in a YouTube Lego movie where I had to yell at President Obama to get in the car or something. It's crazy. But anyway, so we're going along, turned everything in, and then Konami shut the project down. It's like, come on, man. I was about to be Naked Snake. I was practicing, getting that raspy voice stuff together. Hey, Nick, thank you, man. Thanks for the love, brother. Double O, wait, what? Says he's in the zone. Wait, is your voice on Metal Gear? No. I auditioned to be Naked Snake or Big Boss on the original Metal Gear remake that Konami killed. Konami shut the project down. Because that was right before Konami started being stupid and effing with Kojima and all the stuff they started doing to people. Uh, starting to make, casino machines and like horrible games like Metal Gear Online or whatever that was. I never played it, so I don't know. What are my thoughts on military during this time period? I'm thinking about joining, but I'm nervous about joining. I do think joining will make me into someone like you. I mean, sure. The only thing I tell people about whether or not you want to join the military is, do you have the temperament for it? And you gotta, like, I joined the military because they paid for me to go to college, and in my family, you did not go to college. I didn't want to be in the military. Straight up, I wanted to be a professional football player. I didn't think I had what it took to be in the military. I was like, people telling me what to do. I suck at that. Like, rules. But then you find out in my line of work, it's a lot of people have these ideas about what the military is really like, and it's just not. It's not what you see on TV. At least, again, I didn't work like in an office. I was a combatant, so my lifestyle was probably pretty different from the average soldier. But yeah, man. If you're thinking about it, the best thing I would tell you to do is ask people who are currently in. I've been out of the military for, what year is it? I've been out of the military since, when did I get out? I've been out of the military for about 12 years. So, like, my unit that the units that I was in don't even exist anymore. So you'd be better off asking somebody who's still in, who can give you kind of the 411. You also have to understand, like, what do you want to do in the military? Like, understanding what you want to do before you enlist or try to become an officer would be very helpful. Because I thought I knew what I wanted to do, and luckily the Army thought very differently, because the job I asked to do was not the job I got. But I found out that they gave me the right job for who I was. So yeah, I think the military is one of the best institutions in the world to teach uh, life lessons that you can't really learn anywhere else. It's that kind of live says, why did they shut it down? I don't know all the details. I just know Konami. Like, so there's weird, like, if you look at how copyrights, for example, work in Japan, they're very much more stringent than the way we do things in the United States. Like, they have the same requirement to defend the copyright, but there's no fair use exception to copyright law like Americans have. So I believe, and the right answer is I don't know for sure, but I believe it got caught up in legal crap. And I think it was right at the time, and it's total speculation, where Konami was just trying to turn the corner and get out of making video games for the most part. And they didn't want to have another thing that they had to manage. Um, so it was disappointing because it's like one of my favorite games is getting remade. I'm going to get to potentially play one of the characters. Um, but other than Konami just shut them down, either I don't remember the details if they gave us the details, or I just never knew. I know I was disappointed though. Paris Dream says, "I was like, I have known you all my life. If you were on Metal Gear, that would be cool, wouldn't it?" Yeah, no, I have not. To date, my voice acting career kind of culminated with um, being a Secret Service agent in a Lego animation, which was fun. I enjoyed working with those guys. Uh, I have, I casually will look at like voice actor jobs and stuff, but it's crazily more competitive than I thought it would be. Like I recently threw my hat in on a voice acting gig, um, where they needed a guy that sounded like Morgan Freeman. I was like, I do Morgan Freeman impressions from Gloria all the time. Like I could do Morgan Freeman, you know. And then Bruce came down the river. Like I could do Morgan Freeman all night. And I even sent them voice tracks of me talking, and I put together kind of a clip reel where they could hear my voice and hear the different, because I can go pretty low register. I can also get, if you listen to a lot of my older videos, I'm way higher pitched than I am now. It's because I have a great vocal coach, and she's asleep in the other room. And I learned techniques from other actors. So I thought I was a shoe in, but apparently they found somebody else who does a better Morgan Freeman than the guy that actually sounds like Morgan Freeman. So, it's the way it goes, man. JDM says Xbox or PlayStation. Like, which one do I prefer? I am a mercenary. I don't care about platform, I only care about games. So, that's me. Anthony Felicetti says, I just got out 2 weeks ago and it's very different. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Thunderdome, man. Stay connected with other brothers either still in the military or connect with some of us on here that are vets, man. We'll keep your head right. Let's see. Oh, man. Is entrance for an MP similar to the other parts of an army? And what do you mean by entrance? I mean, if you're enlisting, you're going to basic training, period. It doesn't matter what your MOS is. What do I play on? Nothing right now. I haven't played a video game. I mean, I play some stuff on my Vita when I'm in bed trying to fall asleep. But like the last game I finished was Persona 4 Golden. That was probably a month and a half ago. Yeah, Anthony, no worries, man. Let's see. Invisible Fly says, do you have advice for finding a new community or tribe when starting a new chapter in life? I now live alone, far from friends and family, to get my foot in the door in a career I desire. So find people that share your common values. Like a lot of people will tell you, find people with common interests. Common interests are way less important than common values, right? Jesus H. Christ. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Um, Find people that share your common values. And the best way you can do that, like let's say you have a heart to serve people, get into like meetups or groups that go and feed the homeless or help clean up the city. Like for example, nonprofits that work in communities are almost always looking for volunteers. Like I used to take my staff when I was working in the Fortune 500 world, in commercial real estate. I did it I think once or twice. It wasn't like I did it all the time, but I took my staff to go work at a nonprofit and volunteer to pick up trash in my dad's old neighborhood. It was like, this is my family's neighborhood. Let's go clean it up. Right. So when you do stuff like that, you're going to get around people that share whatever your common values are. And that's the important thing, man. People are always like, I need to be around people that have common interests. Yeah, but if you can't get along, like, there are people who like things that I like who I wouldn't want to hang out with, you know. Nothing much going on, man. How you doing? I'm amazing now that Jesus H. Christ is here. Shoot. We're all good. When are you coming back, by the way, to get us? When's the rapture, man? Let's go. I'm ready to get this eternity thing started. But yeah, so just find ways to get involved in activities that are an extension of who you are and who your values are, and you'll find tribe members. Even if you got to link up with online communities first. That's where I would start. That is how I would do it, man. That's a great question, by the way. But yeah, I tell people all the time, like, you're going to be linked up. Take me and my wife, for example. We have some common interests, but not a lot. Like, she loves church and singing in choirs. The only part of church I like is the preaching. It's like, let's just get to the part where I'm going to learn something. The sing along stuff is like standing in a group of grown humans and singing songs together is not my idea of a great time. Uh, like, I just want to get to the part where I'm learning something. But so other than that, it's like church for me. I can just watch videos. I don't need to go to the building because what I'm looking for out of that spiritual experience is not the hyper emotional. It's way more the practical side that I get something out of. Like my emotional spiritual experiences are in the gym. Like when I'm lifting weights and I'm at that point of exhaustion and I push through, like I go into a spiritual zen state where it's like my brain's on another planet, right? My wife doesn't like the gym that much, right? She loves sappy, freaking corny TV. I don't like television. Right? She loves action movies. I couldn't care less, right? We're both musicians, so we had that in common. But our values are exact. Like we are bonded together because we like raising our kids is as easy as raising kids can be, because we agree about how to discipline them and how to treat them and how to develop them. Right? It's getting around people that share your values that matters the most. Squally says, "Where's that rapture?" I'm saying, yes, I started coming in after the singing. Yeah, like when I first started going to church, like when I started working in ministry, I went to a Pentecostal church. So they were all about the emotional, we got to stir up the spirit of Jesus, yo. And I remember I was in a church service so long one Sunday that they were like, the spirit is almost here. We got to stir it up. And I literally looked at my roommate. I was like, bro, I'm going home to watch the game. Can you call me when the spirit lands? Because I'm out. Because clearly these people don't read the scriptures they're supposed to believe in. David said, where can I go that I'm not in the presence of God? Why are we doing all this stir it up? Like 14 people got baptized for no reason. I was like, God, I'm out. We've been here for 4 hours. And I haven't learned jack. I watched the senior pastor cry 6 times. 45 people fell out over here in the spirit of like, I'm out, dude. It was entertaining because I grew up a heathen, man. I didn't grow up in church. So getting to watch this stage play that was going on was kind of entertaining. But it was like, dude, I'm not. And I kind of went along with it while I was there, but I look back on it like, this is freaking ridiculous. I hated going to church on Sunday. I loved the ministry that we did, like working with young adults and stuff, was the ministry I was in, and helping develop leaders. That part was great. The Sunday stuff was, ugh. Right? Like, it's freaking hilarious, man. Yeah, the spirit must have landed after the 14th baptism. It's just like the need, like the Pentecostals need this emotional, just it's like, dude, come on, man, all that shouting, sit down, teach us something that I could use in my real life. Like this emotional. I remember one of my favorite preachers, who was a huge mentor of mine, used to say, like, when I go preach, he's like, I'm an evangelist, bruh. I'll come in and kick the doors in, but I'm not the typical evangelist that's going to get up and try to get y'all to be jumping around. He's like, it's fine if you want to fall out during one of my talks, but I want to know what your ass going to do when you get up. That was always funny to me. Like, yeah, fall out. If that's your thing, man, do it. But what are you doing when you get off the floor? Like, is anything going to be different? Yeah, it was like, call me when the spirit lands, bruh. It can't take Jesus. If he is omnipresent, why is it taking 4 hours for him to get here when that's not even scriptural? Like, it was just hilarious. And then there'd be like a dude who would stand up and just start yelling things, and they called that like a word of the spirit or something. It's like, and then the Lord said, like, dude, you are interrupting. What is this about? It was just funny to watch, man. Like, good Lord. My introduction to ministry was comedy. I saw a lady get the Holy Spirit one time and then she threw herself out, head straight to the pew. Boop! Passed out. And I'm thinking, yo, do we need to get the paramedics? And someone's like, no, she's out in the spirit. Like, no, Slim. She just hit her head on that wooden ass pew. That I don't think she's cool, man. Like, no, let Jesus do his work. Like, I'm gonna let Jesus do his work, but I think EMS needs to come do some work too. You know what I mean? So it's just. But my wife, like, she loves church. Like, it was funny this morning. My mother-in-law has some hearing issues, and she was listening to church, and it was so loud. And it was this black woman scream yelling. And I like heavy metal music, and I was still like, Jesus, that sounds like nails on a chalkboard. And admittedly, I like male singers better than female singers. That's a bias that I have. But it was just like, good Lord, she's coming through the wall. She's screaming so loud. And I was just like, oh, I'm glad I'm not wherever that's happening. Let's see. It's that kind of live says consoles do you play on? So I've only been playing pretty much on my Vita. I have a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One, but my son uses the Xbox One. My PlayStation 4 right now is not even hooked up. That's what I was playing on most before I just pretty much stopped gaming last year. I just kind of fell out of the love of the game for it and got busy doing other stuff. But PS4 is the primary console that I play on when I do play on anything. Derek Johnson says MOS 13 Alpha. I wish the gym was spiritual. It is for me, man. Like, working out is my church. That's why I said you don't need to be with someone that has all your same interests. My wife would go to church all the time if she could, because that emotional connection that she gets there is very powerful for her. Because she was raised around that. The only time I went to church as a kid, my dad fell asleep and was snoring. So I was like, well, clearly they are not very interesting to my dad. Like, and I grew up a heathen. My mom would yell at me, "You didn't grow up a heathen. We believed in God." Like, yeah, but we didn't do anything with it. Like, we were heathens to the church people. Um, but yeah, so the gym I actually call the gym my iron sanctuary. No BS. That is my sanctuary. And I get in there and make it happen. Random thought, but I've been meaning to ask you, what are your thoughts on Kobe? Much respect to Kobe, man. I never followed him because I was never into basketball. But weirdly, like a month before he passed, I started watching a lot of interviews with him, and I was like, man, I would love to be around this dude because he's got the right kind of no nonsense. If you're going to be an assassin, be one attitude. Like, he would fit really well in my inner circle, or maybe I fit in here. His is probably a better way to say that. I was like, I hope one day I get to meet this guy. And then he died a month later. I was like, damn. So his passing away actually hit me harder than a lot of other famous people when they passed. Like, damn, I was starting to grow this huge respect for this guy because I like the way he carried himself. Uh-oh. Did I piss Paris Dreams off? They're yelling at me. I get it. Did the spirit land? Man, I don't know. Let's see. Giovanni says you. Wow, dude. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Why are you on TikTok? Just is this an escape for you, just to kind of not think about it? My prayers go out for you, brother. That's a hard life. That is hard, man. I hope I provided you with something to uplift your spirit, brother. King David danced for God. Yeah, yeah, he did. I lift weights for God. D. Moran says, condolences. Yeah, likewise, man. Jesus H. Christ. I love that name. I once saw a guy do a backflip during a sermon. I watched an evangelist wrestle one of my friends during a sermon. He's like, does anybody want to come up here and get this power of Jesus? And my skinny ass friend Wendell ran up on the stage and dude broke his ass down. Like, this is amazing. Like, church is hilarious. Lynn 14K is laughing. Uncle Eddie says, what's your take on the IDF? I don't know. What's the IDF? Spell that out. I'm not good with acronyms. Uh-oh, we've been here so long that Deadpool woke up and came back. I'm supposed to be asleep, guys. I got to get up early with my kids, and I'm in here laughing with you guys. The Iron Sanctuary. Yes, Paris says, I'm more theatrical than my husband, hence TikTok. I can believe that. The first time I went to church, I was 31. Is that when you changed your name to Jesus H. Christ? That's awesome. Squally says, and they repeat that one line over and over. I said, Jesus! I said, Jesus! The way you wrote that is funny. Oh, man. Jesus is coming back one day. Israeli Defense Forces. I don't know much about them to give you my thoughts on them. I don't believe I ever fought with them. LOL. Have you ever seen the Power Team? Who's the Power Team? The gym is a good way to reflect on yourself and connect with yourself. Yeah, for sure. Garrett Mendenhall. What's up, G? What is the Power Team? Now, I want to know now. Paris Dream says, Jesus. Baptist preacher style. Like my wife grew up like Black Baptist. So that this and then Jesus came through and then it's like, all right, man. Hope you got some lozenges for lozenge. I can't speak English. Lozenges. It's just the theater of church is the part that I never liked. It's like, dude, just tell me the stuff I need to know to make sure God's not going to burn me forever in this fire land that he created for all the angry people, and teach me something I can apply to my life. Like, I don't need to dance and sing around. Like, I never liked dancing. One, because I wasn't good at it when I was younger. But I just never really understood it. It was like, I just rather lift weights than dance. I was never a club guy either. So maybe that's, I wonder if like the church brought kind of that element to it because that's what got people moving. Like people that like to go to clubs. I hated going to clubs growing up. I hated them. The only time I liked being in a club is if I was playing in a band that was playing in one, and that I could get off stage and leave as soon as we were done. D. Moran says, Kobe was my idol, devastated he's gone. And it's, yeah, dude, it's freaking so hard. Saw a guy backhand a kid accidentally because of the spirit. He full on whipped his. Oh, you guys are making me think of that Benny Hinn video. Bodies hit the floor. That's one of the funniest things. Like my lead pastor when I first started doing ministry was friends with that guy. It was hilarious. Bodies hit the floor. The bodies. If you guys haven't Googled, YouTubed Benny Hinn, bodies hit the floor, you are missing out. It's one of the funny. There's a lot of people who I'm sure will think it's blasphemy, but when you look up who Benny Hinn is and all the stuff he's done, you're like, okay, that's fine. We can laugh at this. At least what I've heard he's done. I can't confirm any of it because I don't care, but I have heard his ministry was less than authentic. The Power Team is Christian bodybuilders. Are they hilarious or are they cool? ThinkSpot is the spot. Yes, ThinkSpot is dope. They preach, break blocks. You know what? I think I have heard of those guys. I want to say they probably came to my church once upon a time, breaking blocks and stuff. Yeah, see, I don't need all of the theatrics. I don't need the entertainment piece. I just want to learn. Like that's my biggest problem in the regular world. Like people are like, how do you read 3 books a day? Like, because I'm interested in them. They're more interesting than Netflix to me. In the 22 pages, the first 22 pages of this book will teach you more about human history than probably everything you've ever read. Those pages right there. Wait, there. That amount of this book will teach you more about human nature and human history than you probably ever learned unless you read a lot of the books that I read. Is it the future of social media thinkers? It could be. The biggest problem I see with ThinkSpot right now is I don't know how they're going to generate the network effect, meaning how are they going to make other people who aren't there want to join the platform? So it'll be interesting to see how they pull that off, especially because they don't have an app right now. You have to be on a computer to use ThinkSpot, which is a huge downside. If you're, and they're not in the phase where they're trying to attract a ton of people yet, so that's okay. Uh, right now, what I am seeing on ThinkSpot is a lot of people posting things, but not a ton of engagement. Now, keep in mind, I've browsed like 6 or 7 people's profiles and looked at what they're posting, so I haven't done like a deep dive into ThinkSpot yet. The biggest challenge I see is right now all the people who are joining that I've seen are the big name folks who aren't necessarily the type who are inclined to engage with their audience, right? So they're just posting stuff, but not a lot of people are watching it or commenting on it. And so I wonder, does it just become a repository of information, blogs, and podcasts that people can reference, or does it become a place where actually people become way more social? I hope it becomes the latter. I'm just curious to see what their strategy is for getting that to actually happen. Because right now it's just like the big wigs are the people that you hear about all the time, and they're posting stuff, but I don't see a lot of back and forth yet. But that also may be happening on accounts that I'm not paying attention to. So remains to be seen, man. Squally says, what book is that? It's called Our Oriental Heritage by Will Durant. It's the first volume in the story of civilization. PK Dionysus says, I've never been a fan of going to church. Just give me the message without the theater and ritual. I can totally relate. But yeah, that's me, 100%. Like I don't, but my wife loves the pageantry that she hasn't. But my wife is also a singer, right? So singing in choirs, she's usually part of the church service in her past before we had 14,000 children who just take all your dreams and throw them in the toilet. But it's it's just one of those things where that's what she grew up with, and she has a very strong nostalgic love for that. I didn't grow up with that, and I'm just not a theatrical like people watch. You gotta watch Breaking Bad. No, I don't. After 2 episodes, I know how this ends. I'm good. What about the journey? I don't care about the journey. I care about the moral of the story, the philosophy, and the ethics. Most storytellers aren't good at telling that, so I'm not interested. I'm out. Although that's not fair. I know Breaking Bad has some pretty dope philosophy in it. I just didn't want to watch 9 or 8 or 4, however many seasons of 1,000 episodes. Like I wish Netflix would take the anime approach where an entire anime series is just 20 episodes and you're done. Thank you. Let's all get off the stage and go have dinner. Let's see. Mom Life Cube says, go to a white Baptist church. We don't dance. Oh, I know. I've played drums at a white Baptist church. You most certainly do not dance, at least not well. And you guys always clap on the kick drum instead of the snare. We got to talk about this, white people. I get y'all some rhythm. Stop clapping on the words. It's like I'd always ask, like, are the white people in this audience clapping to the lyrics or the music? Because they're not on beat. Oh, and I'm part white. It's like, maybe I should be the one to help bridge the gap here. She says, but we don't dance? Do I own an Xbox One? Yes, but my son uses it. I don't. And don't even get me started on Easter 24 hours. No, I'm not going to church on Easter. I refuse to go to church on Easter. That's a freaking shit show. Plus, I don't like people that much. Like, I'm not a social dude. Like, I'm really extroverted. It's why I can do public speaking and talk in front of a lot of people and do these live streams and hang out with you guys. But I'm not like a sit around and shoot the breeze. Like, if I'm shooting the breeze with someone I care about, yeah, all day, man. But if I'm just in a group of people I don't know and don't have a connection to, I don't want to chop it up. Like I could totally do a TikTok slash YouTube meetup and hang out with all of y'all. And I could hang out till 4 in the morning listening to your stories and learning about you because I have a connection to all of you. But just to go to a place I've never been before and hang out, just not my jam, man. Just like I said, just teach me the thing I'm supposed to know. Please try to do it um, as succinctly as you can. Especially if you're not doing Q&A. Like I honestly think what we're doing here is the future of church, and this quarantine thing is kind of making that happen. Where it's church should be a give and take, not just a guy who's been ordained to teach you everything. It's one of the things I liked about the Baptist church that my wife went to and sang with for years before we moved to where we are now was I had a lot of interaction with the pastor who's a violently educated human being. He's one of the best preachers I've ever seen and just one of the best teachers I've ever seen, especially in ministry. And like just chopping it up with him and chopping up the Bible with him is just ill because it's. And I remember one time I was saying something and he kind of like, oh dang, this dude actually reads this shit. Let me slide on over to this table and talk to this brother. You know what I mean? So it's like having the back and forth. I mean, because think about it. You guys sit on these calls with me for 3 or 4 hours, but 3 of the 4 hours is us talking to one another. It's not me preaching at you, right? I do the preaching, but then it's you get to ask questions, I get to ask questions and stuff like that. I think that's really the future of how this thing's gonna work. The fact that church didn't go online 10 years ago is hilarious to me. It's like you guys have these $1 million buildings, you could barely pay the rent because people aren't paying the tithes. Like, take it online, pastor. But don't neglect the gathering of the brethren. That's what the word says. Yes, and you're not neglecting it. You have the internet. Use the tools that God has given thee. Let's see, Jean, is it Jean Ward? Can you please say a prayer for me? Sure. What would you like me to pray about? I'd be happy to do that. Blessed and thanks, my bro. Absolutely. Mr. Simone, or Mrs. Simone. Mom Life Cube said something there. What else are y'all talking about? I love clapping on the downbeat. It's a bluegrass thing, but please give clapping lessons to my church. Okay, so if you're clapping on the downbeat, doing bluegrass, I get it. That's a whole separate rhythmic thing, right? That's fine. But I feel like a lot of people who aren't used to music being played in church start clapping to the words. So just hang in there, white folk. It's going to be all right. Frog says, hey, Get Somebody Loves You by Paul Raul Rios. He goes through the Bible and breaks it down. Okay. Morpheus for PTSD. I love that hashtag. I need to steal that. Matter of fact, I'm going to steal that hashtag. Let me put it in my hashtag analysis chart that I have here. Yes, I do have a hashtag analysis chart, believe it or not. I actually do take this stuff kind of seriously, even though I sound like a clown who keeps cussing at people, trying to make them get their lives better. Because I own a couple hashtags, and by own I mean I'm the only one using them, and have gotten hundreds of thousands of views on certain hashtags. As I call it the Genghis Khan strategy when I've helped companies do their social media, where you just own territory and you conquer it completely on the internet, and then you expand. Morpheus for PTSD. Taking that one. Glad to see you smile. Likewise, man. Found you on my For You page. Awesome. I'm glad you're here. Let's go back to YouTube. Let's not leave YouTube hanging. PK says, I don't like dancing, don't like clubs, don't like hanging out, don't like people you don't know. B, you're gonna end up a hermit lumberjack. That's what I am. What do you mean I'm gonna end up that? That's what I am, bruh. That's what I do. I'm a freaking curmudgeon. I'm an extra. The way I broke it down to my business partner, I was hanging out with some of my army buddies and stuff, and my business partner was there, and he was like, I didn't know Eddie Murphy was an introvert. And I was helping him understand how extroversion works. I was like, yeah, he's totally in it. Like, just because he's good around people doesn't mean he's terribly extroverted. I said, like for example, I can relate to Eddie Murphy because I'm an extrovert that hates people. We're kind of the same. But you're right. I'm totally a hermit, dude. Humans get on my nerves all the time. That's why I stay away from them. Officially, the Joker says, Amazing Grace, how. Well played, Joker. Well played. Squally says, clapping to the words. I had two white people in my church, and guess who you heard clap alone most of the time, clapping after everybody else. Yeah, it's just not something they've been conditioned to do. They were dancing to, Beethoven. There's no clapping in Beethoven, bruh. There's no percussion. There's no African rhythms. All you got to do when you're trying to clap right is just clap on the 2 and the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 2 and the 4, if it's a 4/4 beat, I'm not going to get too technical on you. I'm not going to get too music nerd. It's the snare drum. Clap with the snare drum. Doom, doom, cap. Da boom, da boom, pat. Da boom, boom, pat. Da boom, pat. Boom, boom, pat. You clap on the boom, boom, pat. Mm, 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 mm. You see what I mean? Just clap when the drummer hits the snare, and you're good. Dan the Man says, Casual Camo is here. What up, Dan? PK says, back when I used to begrudgingly attend church, I went to a white church only because they were punctual. Yes! With mass starting and ending on time. Yes, except the Pentecostals. They have no. I think Pentecostals don't even put. The Charismatics don't even put clocks in their church because they're still stirring up the spirit 14 years later. I can put up with the lack of rhythm if I can go home. I tell you, the best church services to go to if time is of the essence is Catholic Church. Catholic Church is on a schedule, bruh. You're getting in and out of there in 45 mics, and you are done. I went to Catholic school for a year and a half, so I got a little taste of that. Because we lived in the hood, and my parents were not about to have me going to public schools and getting my little chubby ass beat. Wasn't going to happen. See, Brady Loken says, should I go to OCS or ROTC for the Air Force? Whichever one you want. It's up to you, man. Getting one clap. Broken Suba says, I grew up going to a Catholic church in up north. There was no clapping or singing or speaking out. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Catholic churches, they keep it tight. I used to play the spoons, but they sounded better with cereal. That's funny. We just try to beat the Methodists to the fried chicken. That's funny. That is comedy, y'all. All right, guys, I got to go to sleep. I got to get up with these rugrats in the morning and play Mr. Mom or Mrs. Dad, whichever one you want to call it. Uh, other than that, I love you guys, man. This has been a lot of fun. I only planned to hang out for like 30 minutes, and 3 hours, 47 minutes, and 55 seconds later, we're still at this. So stay strong. Always remember that we are stronger than I, and we'll do something together tomorrow at some point. I got a therapy session with my doc, so we'll see what my schedule looks like after I get my kids squared away. All right? Love you guys, man. See you soon. All right, YouTube. About to kick y'all to the curb, too. All right, yeah. Let's see. Cool. It's been real, guys. Have a great night. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Hey, make sure you follow me on TikTok. I usually announce on TikTok when I'm gonna be doing these streams on YouTube. So get in where you fit in. Love you guys. Stay strong. Peace.